It's lights out and away we go. Bottas gets away well. He's alongside Lewis Hamilton and he's making good progress. And there back is Daniel Ricciardo losing his front wing going into turn one. Bottas ahead of Hamilton. Vettel ahead of Leclerc. Verstappen going around the outside. There's carnage in the midfield as the two Ferraris are separated by Max Verstappen in the middle. Behind them comes Romain Grosjean. Behind his teammate Kevin Magnussen. Hulkenberg started well. Daniel Ricciardo has had an absolute shocker in his home Grand Prix. Let's have a little look at his start, riding on board as he tries to make a move past Perez, gets onto the grass, and that I think is where he lost his front wing. It just got a bit too bumpy, and he did very well to keep out of everyone's way going into turn one.
You can see where the service road is. The grass is quite high. Yeah, he's very unlucky with that because he's barely off the road, is he?
A puff of smoke there from Carlos Sainz going through turn 13, and I think there's a fire at the back of Carlos Sainz's McLaren. He's pulling into the pit lane. There are flames and there's a bit more smoke, and this is the first retirement of the Australian Grand Prix, and it's Carlos Sainz in the McLaren. It's a warm day, but that McLaren and the Renault engine overheating. Romain Grosjean makes his pit stop, and they're all pitting, Martin, a little earlier than the teams have predicted.
Something's slow here, isn't it? Something's horribly slow on this pit stop. Left front won't go on. Not another pit stop drama for Haas in Australia.
And on board with Grosjean is sending it down the inside is Lando Norris. That time around, Giovinazzi couldn't keep the line that he wanted, and Lando Norris, about 5 laps too late, I'm sure, for his own liking, has finally got past the Alpha. Grosjean goes down the inside into turn 13, manages to get past the Italian in the Alpha. Oh look, here he comes, he's getting closer, Max Verstappen and Sebastian Vettel. Oh, he almost was alongside the Ferrari, but now gets a really good getaway from turn 2, and he is wheel to wheel with DRS down towards turn 3. Max Verstappen moves up into third place. It was tight, but he's managed to squeeze that Red Bull through and ahead of the Ferrari. Sebastian Vettel down to fourth as they retire from this race. Daniel Ricciardo. And retiring from the race is Romain Grosjean. This time last year, the wheels came off for Haas after their pit stop. That looks like another mechanical failure, another mechanical problem. Grosjean retires from the Australian Grand Prix, actually for the 3rd year in a row. Now, that front right there, Martin.
The left's not on properly. Look,
yeah, the left's not on.
They remember they had a problem putting the front wheel on.
Front suspension's broken.
For Danny Kvyat, he's lost a massive chunk as he went down the inside and went in way too quickly.
Curiously, the front tyres weren't really long. He didn't want to flat spot them, but there we go. So it's the lunge.
So, Valtteri Bottas is going for the fastest lap once again. Max Verstappen holds it at the moment. Pierre Gasly can't get past the Toro Rosso of Danny Kvyat. Crucially, Verstappen is now within DRS range of Lewis Hamilton if he can complete the lap with the pace he's going at the moment. Hulkenberg from Raikkonen, from Lance Stroll, 7th, 8th and 9th, and a really tight epic battle in the midfield and for the lower points places, as well as Bottas does get the new fastest lap, and we set the final lap, start the final lap of this race. He's refreshed himself over the winter after a disappointing end to the campaign. He got 7 second places during the course of 2018, but when he sees the checkered flag, he knows that he's the #1 in Albert Park today. It's Valtteri Bottas who wins the Australian Grand Prix, and he wins it by a distance. Lewis Hamilton battling away with Max Verstappen for second place. That scrap is still going on as they reach the penultimate corner. Sebastian Vettel ahead of Charles Leclerc by around about 5 seconds at the moment, and we'll see Hamilton cross the line as once again from pole position, it's only second for the 4th consecutive year. Hamilton finishes runner-up in Australia, and Max Verstappen for the first time ever will stand on the podium at Albert Park. What a day for Mercedes, what a day for Bottas.
Well done, Valtteri. You won the 2019 Australian Grand Prix. Great job, bravo. How about that? Yeah! Thank you, guys. Well, that's payback from last year, Valtteri.
Vettel Leclerc completing the top 5. Kevin Magnussen, by the way, didn't have any finishes here since 2016. Came home 6th place for Haas ahead of Nico Hülkenberg, Kimi Räikkönen, points for Alfa Romeo, Lance Stroll, points for Racing Point as well from 16th on the grid, and Danny Kvyat holding off Pierre Gasly to finish 10th. But for Mercedes, they were worried going into this race. They genuinely didn't believe that they had the pace after qualifying, but it's kind of borne fruit that on this track in particular, they did to them. It's lights out, away we go. I think Vettel got the better of the start of the Ferrari, and Valtteri Bottas neck and neck with Lewis Hamilton as well. It is Sebastian Vettel out in the lead from Charles Leclerc. The 2 Mercedes with Bottas on the inside, going wheel to wheel through the first corner. Leclerc gets a little bit squeezed. Sebastian Vettel leads from Leclerc, from Bottas and Hamilton. Then comes Max Verstappen and the fast starting Carlos Sainz ahead of Kevin Magnussen. A lot of sparks there. Someone's got some damage, and I think it's a Racing Point of Sergio Perez in the midfield. We'll find out in a moment.
Bottas up to second.
Valtteri Bottas ahead of Charles Leclerc. Lewis Hamilton now pressing. Leclerc has gone from pole down to 3rd. It's not been the start that he would have wanted. Luckily, as he locks up the inside line, almost collides with the front wing of Lewis Hamilton. We're on board with Lance Stroll, and he is going to make contact with the Haas right there.
Hamilton closing in on the back of Leclerc. We know the Ferrari, though, is quick in a straight line. Is Leclerc going to do a lunge down into turn 1? No, he's not, but he's pushing Bottas hard, and he's got the position.
Bottas locked up. That allowed Charles Leclerc to get past the Mercedes, and Bottas now struggling out of turn 2, and Lewis Hamilton is coming at him, and he's gone wheel to wheel already. We've seen 2 Mercedes go wheel to wheel into turn 4 before. Bottas has the inside line. Hamilton then tries to switch round and get a better exit, and they're plunging down the hill together. Can Hamilton get ahead of Bottas? He does. Squeezes his teammate out and takes 3rd place. We're on board with Carlos Sainz now, and he really can see that rear wing of Verstappen getting very large. He can't see it now. He's got past him. Can he get past him and make the move stick? Did they make contact? Verstappen keeps hold of the place. He's 5th, Sainz 6th.
Verstappen very late on the brakes, and his damage for Sainz. Right front.
Oh dear,
he's a long way from home.
Well, I wondered if they touched Martin, and it rather looks like they have. Look how Leclerc is gaining on Vettel, passing Vettel, into the lead goes Charles Leclerc, but has he gone too deep? Has he gone too deep? No, just gets back onto the racing line ahead of his teammates.
And now it's Vettel who'll get the DRS down into turn 4. This is a proper race.
And
nobody's yielding at all.
Very nearly, Martin went into the back of his teammate there. Such was the speed Vettel was getting under DRS. And we can watch here and see what happened with Giovinazzi and Danny Kvyat. Well, it was Giovinazzi driving into the Russian.
Yeah, Giovinazzi puts his hand up. Is it to say sorry, or is it to say, what on earth do you think you're doing?
Lewis Hamilton going onto the soft compound tyre. Mercedes 2 stopping at the very least. There goes Valtteri Bottas on Max Verstappen. Don't forget, Hamilton's on a brand new set of soft compound tyres. Verstappen stays ahead of Bottas in 5th place. He's just set the new fastest lap of the race as well. Sebastian Vettel leads from Daniel Ricciardo. They haven't stopped yet in this race from Charles Leclerc. There goes Bottas once again on Verstappen. Goes a little bit wide, gets the overtake done. Bottas back ahead of the Red Bull. Hulkenberg, just for 1 second, goes ahead of Kimi Räikkönen in the Alfa Romeo. Hulkenberg is up into 7th place. Nice move there from a man making his 158th race start.
Here we go again.
DRS wide open, this time it's only Hamilton. Vettel wonders where he's going. Hamilton goes round the long way, round the outside once again. He's off the track once again, and Sebastian Vettel's lost it. Coming out of turn 4, Lewis Hamilton gets past and moves up into 2nd place, and Sebastian Vettel is left spinning. So this is the exit of the corner, and that is a sight that Sebastian Vettel and his fans don't want to see.
We need new tires, box.
Copy.
Ambition well ahead of adhesion, and he has damaged that left rear tyre, and his front wing's gone for good measure.
His front wing has gone, the front left tyre damaged, the rear tyres as well, immediately calling to the team to shout box, box, box. Hulkenberg and Ricciardo as well in the Renaults. Ricciardo locks up and they touch the 2 Renaults as well as Hulkenberg squeezes his way past Daniel Ricciardo in the battle for 6th place. There was definitely contact there between the 2 teammates, and we might get some again because Ricciardo's going for it. Down into turn 4 they run, and Ricciardo just failing to get alongside Nico Hulkenberg, who keeps hold of that 6th place.
What was that? He hit me. I gave him plenty of space.
There's something strange with the engine.
Okay, copy that. We are checking it.
There's something strange with the engine.
He's lost a lot of pace, has Charles Leclerc. Leclerc's a sitting duck.
So Lewis Hamilton down towards the final corner takes the lead of the Bahrain Grand Prix. Charles Leclerc, he's still in the top 3, but only just at the moment as Valtteri Bottas now passes him. Nico Hulkenberg in the Renault. Now he's gone off into the runoff area, I think at the end of the straight. And I wonder what's happening there. Daniel Ricciardo's there as well.
Both cars on 1 lap.
Let's have a listen on board with Daniel Ricciardo.
Everything just cut out.
Oh,
dear.
That's nasty. That's a big failure.
Lewis Hamilton wins the Bahrain Grand Prix. Valtteri Bottas comes home in 2nd place. Charles Leclerc gets his first podium in Formula 1. It should have been his first victory, but it was cruelly taken away from him through no fault of his own. Sebastian Vettel, 5th place only after his spin after Lewis Hamilton passed him.
Well, guys, that was extremely unfortunate for Charles. He drove such a great race. We've got work to do.
Charles Leclerc has to console himself with a first Formula 1 podium instead. For Lewis Hamilton, it's his 136th podium. It's Hamilton's smiles, it's Leclerc's disappointments. Mercedes 1-2 in the Bahrain Grand Prix. It is F1000, and it's lights out, and away we go. Bottas ahead of Hamilton, who got away well. Hamilton scoots past Bottas on the inside. Vettel challenging on the outside. Charles Leclerc goes on the inside of Vettel. Hamilton leads Bottas, leads Leclerc, leads Vettel, leads Verstappen, and round the outside of Pierre Gasly comes Daniel Ricciardo in the Renault. But what a great start for Lewis Hamilton. For the first time this season, he's beaten his teammate off the line.
Well, it's a real Noah's Ark grid, wasn't it? 2 by 2 with the teams all the way through the top 10. And they've somehow managed to not connect with each other as they head down into turn 6. Great driving.
Sergio Perez very late on the brakes, gets ahead of Nico Hulkenberg in the Renault, and Kvyat's gone into Norris, and they're out of the race, and Sainz has picked up damage as well. This is what it looked like on board Lando Norris's McLaren, and you've probably just lifted off the sofa in unison with the McLaren doing a little bunny hop there. 2 Hasses running side by side, and then Danny Kvyat into Sainz, into Norris. Ouch.
Let Sebastian by. Let Sebastian by.
But
I'm pulling now. I'm pulling away.
That message might be a little old. He's letting Sebastian Vettel past. Vettel moves up into third place. Charles Leclerc obeys team orders, and Sebastian Vettel is now released to get after Valtteri Bottas and try and reduce the deficit that has grown to about 3.5 seconds in the opening 10 laps of this race. And we're seeing Hulkenberg come in again. This is not a scheduled pit stop, and what looks there, Martin, like another mechanical failure for Nico Hulkenberg. It's Honda power against Ferrari power, and it's DRS assisted now for Max Verstappen. The wing wide open at the back. Can he get anywhere close? We've seen them come together last year as Verstappen dived down the inside. He's going for it again. He locks up, gets ahead of Vettel. Vettel tries to fight it back again, and he gets pushed wide. Max Verstappen into the dirt on the inside. Verstappen can't get ahead of Sebastian Vettel.
Vettel entitled to take the racing line on the inside. Verstappen running out of space on the outside of the track. It was a lunge, but it was under control, but he couldn't quite. As he put some lock into the steering wheel, the inside tyre unloaded, and there it is, just coming back at him. Brilliant. Good driving from the pair of them.
Absolutely brilliant. Kevin Magnussen ahead of Kimi Räikkönen. Räikkönen's going to try around the outside at the hairpin at turn 6, then switch back to the inside and get on the gas a little bit more cleanly. Has he got ahead of Kevin Magnussen? Yes, he has. Alex Albon had a big crash in FP3 and is making his way up the field and making up for lost time in the race itself. Has just got past Antonio Giovinazzi. He's got pace, that Toro Rosso. Real shame he couldn't take part in qualifying, because it was looking like a contender for the top 10. There goes Kimi Räikkönen. I don't know if he's going to the motor show or not, but he's certainly going to get past Romain Grosjean here. Grosjean tries to fight it, will carry on trying to fight it, but can't fight it any longer. Räikkönen is far enough ahead to take 9th place. And this is the double stack stop for the Mercedes team. Medium tyres going on for Lewis Hamilton. Just when one went out, the other one's ready to come back in again. It was like a production line. Now there goes Valtteri Bottas then, started on pole in this race. He's been playing second fiddle to his teammate Lewis Hamilton ever since the start, and he's back ahead of Charles Leclerc, so goes back into second place in this race. Danny Kvyat is out of this race, banged into 2 McLarens at the start. Danny Kvyat's quite miserable Chinese Grand Prix comes to an end on lap 43.
Lando Norris's hellish, I think we can call it, first Chinese Grand Prix ends in retirement.
Joins Danny Kvyat and Nico Hulkenberg as retiring from this race. Lewis Hamilton on his way to a 6th Chinese Grand Prix victory. It's pretty much 6 of the best for Lewis Hamilton. Alain Prost waves the checkered flag. A 4-time world champion acknowledges a 5-time world champion winning the Chinese Grand Prix. What a start to the season it has been for Mercedes.
Get in there, Lewis. Super strong start, super strong pace. So Lewis, that's win number 75.
Awesome job, guys. What a fantastic result for us today. I'm so proud of everyone. Thank you so much for all the hard, continued work. Let's keep pushing, guys. I really appreciate you.
Smiles and celebrations, not for Ferrari and Sebastian Vettel, but for another 1-2. Their third 1-2 in 3 races in 2019. What a hat-trick to start this year off. There's a long way to go, but Mercedes already beating their goals. Victory today, second place as well. They lead the Drivers' and the Constructors' Championship. It's lights out and away we go. Hamilton gets a mega start and Valtteri Bottas under pressure already, and there's trouble maybe at the back as the two Mercedes go wheel to wheel into turn 1. Bottas just ahead of Hamilton. Hamilton from Sebastian Vettel. Perez challenging Max Verstappen. They managed to get safely at the front through turn 2 as well. Bottas has that lead, but his teammate is harrying all the way down towards turn 3. It's Bottas from Hamilton, Vettel, Perez, Verstappen, and then Lando Norris. Great start from Norris, brilliant start from Hamilton, but Bottas kept him at bay.
Wow, that was wheel to wheel. Mercedes will be rubbing their hands together because it's so crucial they could have come together. And what a start by Sergio Perez. He's jumped Max Verstappen. That's going to hamper his progress. And I'm just watching in the distance. Where's Charles Leclerc? He's behind Daniel Ricciardo in the Renault.
Ricciardo, who started 10th on the grid, 2 places behind Charles Leclerc, has managed to get ahead of the Ferrari in these early stages. Is that the benefit of the soft tyre as opposed to the medium? DRS for Max Verstappen.
He's coming late, Crofty.
He's coming late, he's coming late. We know what happens when a Red Bull comes late, but this time he doesn't crash in to the car in front. Charles Leclerc has got past Carlos Sainz with a bit of DRS, and we then go back to Lance Stroll, and behind him now is Daniel Ricciardo, because Kvyat has been overtaken again, and his teammate Alex Albon is now right on his tail.
Danny Kvyat, he's struggling with the rear tyres of Grain, and look, Albon up the inside at turn 2.
Alex Albon started 11th, Danny Kvyat started 6th, and now Albon is the lead Toro Rosso.
Here's Leclerc. Next victim is Max Verstappen. Look, he's picked up the slipstreams. I think that'll be an easy overtake.
Game, set, and match to the Monegasque. How easy was that? Science on the hats of Romain Grosjean. The slipstream and a bit of DRS, giving Carlos Sainz all the boost that he needed. Robert Kubica is into the pits for his first change of tyres in this race. He's had a drive-through penalty. We've got 20 cars all running. Grosjean locks up, takes to the escape road, makes it rather easy for Daniel Ricciardo, lights up his tyres, and might have to be coming into the pits again very shortly as the Alfa Romeo bypasses him of Kimi Raikkonen as well. Valtteri Bottas is coming at him. Someone's gone wide in the first sector. Bottas pulls out from behind Charles Leclerc's rear wing. Bottas takes the lead, retakes the lead of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. And there's 2 cars down there, Daniel Ricciardo and also Danny Kvyat. Kvyat, I think, locks up a little bit. Ricciardo certainly locks up, goes straight on, and might just have collected the Toro Rosso as well.
Yeah, he's just slightly overdone it, hasn't he? He's tried to break on the inside. Perfect defending by Kvyat, but Ricciardo just locking up, and you can see how long it takes to get these cars into reverse.
That's where it came. Ricciardo reversed into him. Oh dear. Watching now, Pierre Gasly looking into his mirrors. They'll keep Gasly out because it's going to help Verstappen this to see if he can keep Charles Leclerc at bay. Leclerc's going to have to leave this very late. Gasly offers the way down the inside, but Leclerc's a bit too far back. Now we'll try and get him on the run down towards turn 2, and he's not going to manage it there either. We'll definitely get DRS assistance on this particular straight, but it is holding him up. All the while, he stays behind that Red Bull, and he needs to get past him for his and Ferrari's own sake, and he manages to do so. Charles Leclerc up into 5th place, took a lap longer than they would have wanted.
Oh, that's a slow Red Bull.
That's a very slow Red Bull. Is that Pierre Gasly? It is Pierre Gasly. That's really, really sad luck for the young Frenchman. The warning is there that the virtual safety car is ending. As soon as it goes green, away we go then. Valtteri Bottas leads from Lewis Hamilton. See how Max Verstappen desperate to get on the power.
And look at the rubber that Vettel laid as well, so clearly struggling for tyre temp.
I tell you what, Paul, he got close to the wall there. He wouldn't want to get much closer, would he?
It's just where it ended. He stood on the loud pedal, and look, that's what you get when you've got 850 horsepower or whatever F1 cars have got these days.
It's not over yet, guys.
It is not over yet.
Lewis will never give up. That is his, I think, key attribute as a racing driver.
Toto Wolff yesterday said we haven't got an answer to Ferrari's pace. Well, Mercedes have found it today, and at the moment on course for a 4th 1-2 of the season.
This is going to affect Charles Leclerc's attempt at fastest lap. He's got 2 best sectors, 1st and 2nd.
Well, Nico Hülkenberg is the man that he passed there to lap. It's Charles Leclerc, who started 8th and has finished 5th and has taken the fastest lap in this race. Mercedes drivers, they have been on a consecutive finishing streak of 16 races now. They've been on a consecutive winning streak this season of 4 races. It's going to be another 1-2 for Mercedes-Benz, and it's victory for Bottas in Baku. Valtteri Bottas wins the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, and that makes up for the pain and anguish of 12 months ago.
Amazing job, guys. Really, really strong. So proud. Proud to be part of this, so thank you.
Valtteri Bottas wins from Lewis Hamilton, Sebastian Vettel third. Max Verstappen finishes 4th ahead of Charles Leclerc, who got the fastest lap. Double points finish for Racing Point, Sergio Perez and Lance Stroll. A double points finish for McLaren, Sainz ahead of Norris. Kimi Raikkonen keeps up his record of scoring points in every race this season from the pit lane to 10th place in the final points finish. And it's lights out, away we go, and Hamilton gets a very good start. He's wheel to wheel with Bottas already. Behind them, Sebastian Vettel and Max Verstappen, and it's Hamilton and Bottas wheel to wheel. And now Vettel's joining in on the action as well. Into turn 1 we go. Vettel locks up, goes wide. Hamilton into the lead. Bottas gets through in second. Vettel is compromised by Charles Leclerc. Max Verstappen ahead of Leclerc, and now Pierre Gasly going wide through turn 3. But out in front, Valtteri Bottas not getting the best start. Hamilton leading us down the inside. Goes Kevin Magnussen on Daniel Kvyat.
Yes, he logged his front brakes, didn't he, Vettel? He had such a good run through there. The two Ferraris nearly connected for good measure. Vettel didn't run too wide, so he was able to rejoin the track without going through the penalty zone there, and he got away with that, and somehow there was no contact.
Quite a bit of a flat spot front right.
That is not going to be very nice going down the straight. It'd be like riding along with a 50-pence piece as a tyre. And Sebastian Vettel just looking in his left wing mirror there to see where his teammate is. Now moves over towards the inside of the track, lets Charles Leclerc through on the racing line, and the two Ferraris do swap places. Leclerc is up in the 4th place. And the Alfa Romeo having a bit of a battle at the moment. Danny Kvyat there, who's trying desperately to find a way past Kimi Raikkonen, and is trying round the outside at turn 4. You don't often get past there in Barcelona. Wow, nice move indeed. Meanwhile, confusion reigning at Ferrari, and still Seb's behind Charles.
Yeah, Leclerc spent the whole straight looking in his mirror, and there goes the switch.
Not where we were expecting it. Should have come maybe down the main straight, maybe should have come about 3-4 laps ago, but that sounds like a repeat of something we said about 20 laps ago. This is how Danny Kvyat got past Kevin Magnussen. Magnussen went to the right, and Kvyat reacted very well to go to the left there. That was another good move from Danny Kvyat. Lando Norris has gone off. Lance Stroll has gone off with him in the Racing Point, and I wonder if this means a safety car. Norris has managed to get back out on the track. There's a lot of gravel as he goes right across the track there.
I'm sorry, guys, I'm out.
Can you bring the car back? Can you bring the car back?
No, I can't. I'm sorry, guys.
We can see this incident once again. Norris on the inside catches that right-left wheel of the Racing Point. And yeah, to blame. And I wouldn't be at all surprised if the stewards have a look at this one, because he hadn't made the corner.
I'm going with a racing incident on that one.
Lewis Hamilton is now flying, trying to get the jump on the rest, as it's like the fastest, longest train you've ever seen going through that chicane. And Hamilton seems to have survived the restart, but look, Sebastian Vettel is now under pressure from Pierre Gasly, as I mentioned. Gasly's going wheel to wheel on the Charles Leclerc. Sebastian Vettel putting pressure on Max Verstappen. Magnussen on the inside of Grosjean as well. Leclerc ahead of Gasly. Grosjean goes wide in his battle there with Kevin Magnussen. Rejoins just in front of the McLaren of Carlos Sainz, but now Pierre Gasly's in trouble, and Kevin Magnussen's alongside him on the run down towards turn 4. On the inside, Kevin Magnussen, can he get past Gasly? Gasly's hanging on in there somehow, now has the inside line to turn 5. One of the Toro Rossos, Kvyat, I think, into the gravel, but coming back out onto the track, and somehow they all emerged pretty unscathed there. Magnus is defending thin air again. Grosjean knows he's going to do that. He's gone round the outside, and once again, Romain Grosjean has to go to the escape road.
Round that bollard.
Goes round the bollard, rejoins in a safe place. As there goes Carlos Sainz on Romain Grosjean down into turn one. Sainz is on the inside. Grosjean's been forced wide again. And this time around, can he come back out in front of Carlos Sainz? Yes, just. He's getting used to taking the long way round at the end of the main straight, Romain Grosjean. Right, I think we watch Carlos Sainz again. It's not a replay. He's gone a different way this time around, and he's got Grosjean before the braking zone into turn one, and Carlos Sainz is up into 8th place. And it's going to be Lewis Hamilton. It's going to see the checkered flag first and claim a hat-trick of Spanish Grand Prix wins. Lewis Hamilton wins the Spanish Grand Prix, and for the 5th time in a row, it's a Mercedes 1-2 as Valtteri Bottas comes home second. Max Verstappen claims a podium, and Ferrari, with Vettel 4th and Leclerc 5th, are left wondering what do they do and where do they go from here.
Get in there, Lewis. What a race drive that was. Awesome day in the seat there, mate. Fantastic start as well. So yeah, Mad Dog, great work.
Pierre Gasly will come home to take 6th place ahead of Kevin Magnussen, 7th for Haas. Carlos Sainz, another finish in his home Grand Prix in the points. 5 starts in Spain, 5 points finishes. Danny Kvyat 9th, and Romain Grosjean holds on to 10th place. The marshals bowing to Lewis Hamilton, the first man to take a hat-trick of Spanish Grand Prix wins since Michael Schumacher won 4 in a row from 2001 to 2004, and he picks up 26 points for his first fastest lap of the race this season as well. Where it's lights out and away we go, and Hamilton gets away well. Bottas tries to cover off Verstappen, and then comes Sebastian Vettel. It's wheel to wheel, Bottas and Verstappen. Bottas just squeezes past the Red Bull there. Giovinazzi and Charles Leclerc taking the inside line, which you're not supposed to do at the start, as they try to stay out of trouble. Through Massenet we go. Hamilton ahead of Bottas, Verstappen, Vettel, and then Daniel Ricciardo ahead of Kevin Magnussen. 2 Toro Rossos almost getting in a bit of a heat. Nico Hülkenberg behind them. Leclerc goes round the outside of Lando Norris, and there's contact. Kimi Räikkönen on Lance Stroll. Stroll was just straightened up a little bit there by the Alfa Romeo. They all managed to get through the Lowe's hairpin. Charles Leclerc gets past Lando Norris and up into 13th place.
That was pretty bold, and you need a compliant rival at some point in there.
The Ferrari has got through. The defence from Romain Grosjean didn't pay off there, and Leclerc did get through at Rascasse. You've got to hand it to Leclerc. That was pretty smart.
Oh, that one didn't work.
It didn't work at all. Charles Leclerc's gone for it again. This time he tangles with the Renault.
The Ferrari spun by itself. I don't know if he's tapped the barrier on the inside. He hit the barrier with his right rear.
We have a puncture.
Oh dear, and he's now shredding the tyre to pieces and possibly causing a lot of damage, Charles Leclerc.
He's ripping his own floor apart. You have to come back slowly. He's angry, he's frustrated, he's dissecting his own car. It's got to be almost walking pace.
Bottas is away, and that must be an unsafe release, because Max Verstappen has come out at the same time. They very, very nearly touched as well. And Max Verstappen has a 5-second time penalty for an unsafe release. Now we have got a car park at Rascasse. George Russell, Nico Hülkenberg can get past, Robert Kubica can get past. Kubica and Leclerc are kind of stuck there, and this is blocking the track. Double waved yellows. Russell gets going, Leclerc gets ahead of Giovinazzi. But what caused this? Let's have a little look now. Down the inside goes Giovinazzi and spins George Russell round. Perez get caught up as well. Charles Leclerc retires from his home race, and what a wretched home race it's been for him. Now this is Kimi Räikkönen.
Again, it just drives into me.
We saw it, Kimi. We saw it. We have you on board.
Just watching here, Kevin Magnussen and Sergio Perez going into the chicane. Magnussen defending hard and rubbing wheels there with Sergio Perez before he then has to cut the chicane to stay ahead.
Man, Kevin got the chicane. I overtook him and he got the chicane.
We've got half the field all in one place, including the leaders trying to get through the back markers.
This is going to get a bit exciting now as Hamilton manages to lap Lance Stroll, who keeps out of the way of Max Verstappen as well. The car in front is a Williams of George Russell, keeps out of the way. There's a chicane appearing at the back as Valtteri Bottas gets compromised a little bit by Lance Stroll, and it's getting even worse for Valtteri Bottas. Vettel skipped through and Bottas now is stuck behind the racing point.
Yeah, Stroll will not be very popular with that one with Valtteri Bottas.
We're going to lose this race, I can't look after this tires anymore, they're dead.
So Lewis, just thinking about it, if we manage to the same pace as the cars in front and you can still hold Verstappen behind.
I can't keep the car behind, Bono. Can you not see that?
Yeah, no problem, Lewis.
Lewis needs this to rain for his particular race afternoon.
Sebastian Vettel, who you could argue, with Verstappen having a 5-second penalty and Hamilton struggling, is still sat in a very nice position as well.
I don't know what you're thinking when you keep these tyres on, man. You need to hope for a miracle.
Mode 7, when you're ready, Max. Mode 7, to the end.
Verstappen has been given more power. You have overtake available.
Oh, that's great news.
Is he going to have a go? Is he going to send one?
Lewis parks the car absolutely perfectly. Now Verstappen tries to switch back. That was super driving, that. Here goes Verstappen down the inside on Lewis Hamilton. They make contact. Hamilton has to cut the chicane. Verstappen does as well. There was definite contact there as Verstappen sent one into the chicane to try and get past.
Yeah, just turns in. I'm trying to overtake.
Hamilton's now going to make it 3 victories around the streets of Monte Carlo and extend his lead at the top of the championship. Hamilton wins the Monaco Grand Prix. Sebastian Vettel and Valtteri Bottas cross the line, and with Max Verstappen's 5-second penalty, they will take their place on the podium as Pierre Gasly crosses the line for a very impressive 5th place finish.
Lewis, that was a victory worth Nicky. Well done, unbelievable job, congratulations.
Carlos Sainz, Danny Kvyat, Alex Albon, Romain Grosjean and Daniel Ricciardo will complete the points for Mercedes. It has been a week where they have mourned the loss of their teammate and friend and valued team member Niki Lauda. It is a week that they will emerge celebratory in Niki's honour. And Hamilton, the championship leader, after his victory in Bahrain and China and Spain last time out. A very emotional, very hard fought and a very well-deserved victory here in Monaco as well. .70 laps ahead of us here in Montreal. It's lights out, away we go. Good start from Vettel and from Hamilton. Leclerc now comes up on the inside, and you've got Ricciardo ahead of Gasly and Bottas. Vettel into turn 1, wheel to wheel. Leclerc and Hamilton, but Hamilton gets the inside line through turn 2, and he's away. Ricciardo a bit unstable, but he's okay ahead of Gasly. Hülkenberg started well and maybe got ahead of Bottas as well. There's Lando Norris now behind Bottas, and Max Verstappen right in there in the thick of it as well as they go through the first chicane. Be right on board with Alex Albon there, and you can see absolutely no chance of avoiding contact and collision. And this is the start from Romain Grosjean, so I wonder, Martin, was he the Haas then that went off into turn 1?
He had a poor start, did Romain, way too much wheel spin, and there, I feel for Alex Albon there. And look, he's trying to throw the carbon fibre confetti out of his cockpit there as Romain Grosjean.
Lando Norris has a problem with his right rear. He's hit the wall. I would imagine it's the wall of champions that he's hit. Look how hot those brakes are getting at the rear, on fire as well. Lando Norris's race is run and done. Here's Lando Norris in then to the final chicane, locks up. No, he did not touch the wall, Martin.
Yeah, he's got a.
That's where it went, on the straight.
Yeah, it's a brake issue that's melted the rear suspension.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, right puncture. Something's happened.
Okay. We will.
We're gonna have to stop. All right.
Really sorry, mate. I'm really sorry.
We're watching now Kevin Magnussen. Behind him is Danny Kvyat. Magnussen started from the pit lane. He's got the inside line there, but Kvyat ahead of him. This is how Sergio Perez got ahead of Kevin Magnussen on the brakes. It's not just one brave man that goes around the outside of Kevin Magnussen, Martin. There's two that have done it today. Perez has a little go on Romain Grosjean. Down into turn one, they go wheel to wheel, and they touch, and Grosjean goes off the track, but only enough to allow Sergio Perez past, and Perez was not going to let that one go whatsoever. I'm just expecting a team radio here now.
Yeah, can report that to the race control.
I'm not entirely surprised by Romain Grosjean's message there.
Taking candy from a baby, this one.
Yeah, we are on board with Valtteri Bottas. And he lifted off because the Renault was defending for all its might, and now they go wheel to wheel into the chicane. It looks a lot more dramatic than Bottas thought it would be, and Daniel Ricciardo manages to hold on to 5th place there.
The Renault was moving around a lot, I must say.
But Sebastian Vettel, I think, really for the first time this afternoon, under pressure.
Hamilton with DRS behind, 1 second. Engine 1 is available.
He's just gone very wide in turn 10 as Lewis Hamilton. That's cost him dearly.
That's the second time I think he's done that into the hairpin this afternoon.
Oh, he's gone wide.
Copy.
Sebastian Vettel goes wide, and Lewis Hamilton thought there was a gap, but the wall and Sebastian Vettel moving to the right-hand side closed that gap down. Has Vettel just got away with an error and preserved his lead in this Canadian Grand Prix?
Let's see what happens. Yeah, the back just would not stick. That's bad news for him in terms of his absolute pace as well. They didn't do anything wrong.
You just came on the track so dangerous.
Yeah, copy, Lewis. We're on it.
Was that dangerous by Sebastian Vettel? Hamilton really had to jam on the brakes, didn't he? Max Verstappen, after his pit stop, climbing back up through the field. We saw him get past Hülkenberg. He's now got past Ricciardo, and he's up into 5th place.
This is the worst experience I've ever had in any race car, ever.
None of us are happy about this pace. The guys stayed up all night to fix the car.
I know,
so let's bring it home, man.
I know.
It means that for us it's also not a nice experience. It's enough now. That's what it means. Enough means enough.
Sebastian Vettel has been given a 5-second time penalty for an unsafe re-entry and forcing another driver off the track.
Vettel has 5-second penalties, so we just need to stay in his gearbox.
Vettel has now got 12 laps to try and build at least a 5-second gap and win a race that he's dominated, Martin.
We've got a 5-second time penalty for unsafe re-entry. Head down, head down. We have Hamilton 3 seconds behind.
I had nowhere to go. Seriously, I had nowhere to go. I didn't see him.
Copy.
You know, if you go through the grass and you come back, you have an amazing grip. Where the hell am I supposed to go? I had grass on my wheels. It's his fault if he decides to go that way. If he got to the inside, he got past me.
Okay, stay focused. Copy that. Stay focused. 10 laps to go.
I am focused, but they're stealing the race from us.
Copy that.
That is Lance Stroll, and he has got past Carlos Sainz, and he's moved up into 9th place. And right behind Carlos Sainz now is Danny Kvyat in the Toro Rosso. And Kvyat's going to go for it down the inside. And that's a very neat move indeed by the Russian. Lovely stuff from Danny Kvyat. Carlos Sainz in trouble as Stroll passes him, and then the Toro Rosso too.
Well earned by Stroll. He drove that first stint brilliantly.
as the top two have given us some great excitement this afternoon make their way out of the final corner. Sebastian Vettel takes the checkered flag, but Lewis Hamilton wins the Canadian Grand Prix. It is Hamilton for the 7th time that will take victory in Montreal.
Nice work, mate. You forced the error, and that's the win for you.
That is not the way naturally I wanted to win, but I would have been past if it wasn't for the wall there. So, big thank you.
No, guys. No. Not like that. Not like that. No.
We've got 5 lights ahead of the drivers, it's lights out, and away we go. The Mercedes get away well, Lando Norris starting well, already up towards Charles Leclerc, pulling out his Carlos Sainz to make a move on Max Verstappen. It's Hamilton out in front from Bottas, and Leclerc wheel to wheel goes Sainz and Verstappen through the first corner. Norris just has to concede. Sebastian Vettel making a move there on Pierre Gasly in the Red Bull, who got a really good launch. There's Antonio Giovinazzi looking for a move past Gasly, he can't make it. Sebastian Vettel stays ahead of the Red Bull as well. And going off the track, that's one of the Force Indias. Looks like Sergio Perez having to take the long way round at turn 4.
Yeah, Racing Point, as they call it now, a very forgettable name, it must be said, heading off through the penalty zone, but onto the back straight, and certainly the front of the pack, pretty clean, whilst it being side by side as well.
And there goes the McLaren of Carlos Sainz into the chicane, looking to make a move on Max Verstappen. McLaren all over that Red Bull in the opening corners. This is what it looked like on board with Verstappen.
Yeah, Leclerc got himself a lovely slipstream. Verstappen didn't, because he got hung out to dry basically, didn't he?
Yeah.
The two Mercedes, and Leclerc went to the left-hand side and left Verstappen in his own airstream.
That's brilliant racing though, Leclerc and Verstappen there. So close, but not coming together. Sergio Perez has got a 5-second time penalty for leaving the track and gaining an advantage.
It's clear as day what you have to do. He has gone round the other side of that bollard. So what are they saying he's done? He's still gained places by it, even though he's gone through the penalty box.
This is George Russell taking the bold route round, and that's how that bollard got removed. Sebastian Vettel makes that DRS advantage look very easy once again, and after getting past Lando Norris, he's now got past Norris's teammate Carlos Sainz. From 7th on the grid, he's now up to 5th and chasing after Max Verstappen. As we ride on board with Daniel Ricciardo, he's got DRS against Pierre Gasly. He's got warmer tyres as well. Gasly goes to the left-hand side of the circuit, and Ricciardo pulls to the right and pulls ahead of the Red Bull as well. Hamilton is pitting, as you can see. White stripe, hard compound tyre goes on. He had a very comfortable advantage indeed over his teammate Valtteri Bottas. He was half a second quicker in terms of the time he was stationary for his pit stop as well. He should be comfortably ahead of Valtteri Bottas. Daniel Ricciardo and Romain Grosjean getting wheel to wheel through the chicane. Grosjean goes off the track, comes back alongside Daniel Ricciardo, but Ricciardo should be now clear of the Haas, and he is.
He rejoined the track very dangerously and had to go around.
We saw, understood. Okay, Lando, we're managing a small issue. We cannot use DRS, even if it's available. We cannot use DRS.
Like it won't work, or I'm not allowed?
You're not allowed.
Danny Kvyat is down in 15th place, and that car ahead of him is his teammate Alex Albon. The two Toro Rosso drivers really going for it. Medium compound tyre for Fiat, hard compound tyre for Albon. Looks like the medium is going to give a much better traction for the Toro Rosso driver from Russia as he goes round the outside at Scene. They're going wheel to wheel into the Bose, and he just has to concede for a moment. But as Albon goes a bit deep, Fiat got interested once again. That's a great little scrap. Romain Grosjean running at the back of the grid for pretty much the entire race. What a miserable weekend it has been for Romain Grosjean in his home race. Into the chicane.
On the outside. Oh, it's tight though.
He's gone all four wheels off the track again there,
Same trick he played on Romain Grosjean, but then, look, Norris goes off the track as well. They're all at it.
And now Kimi Raikkonen's come through. Now he's gone all four wheels off the track again. Hulkenberg's getting involved with that. I would suggest the stewards are going to take a look at this as well.
Picked up understeer on his way into turn 8, but look, if the stewards want to stick by the rules, like we saw in Canada...
Well, he's rejoined the track and forced Lando Norris off.
Kimi Raikkonen does nothing wrong. He's guarding to the edge of the circuit, but he gives him room in the end.
Lewis Hamilton wins the French Grand Prix from pole position, and he's led every single lap. He's also got the fastest lap as well. Hamilton completes a very good day as Charles Leclerc makes a move on Valtteri Bottas into the last corner. Can't get past the Mercedes. It's a 1-2 finish for Mercedes here in France. Can Sebastian Vettel take away the extra point from Lewis Hamilton and get the fastest lap? He crosses the line. Now he does.
Phenomenal weekend, guys. Just so proud of everyone. Thank you so much for all the hard work, continued work. Let's keep it up.
I dare say for Charles Leclerc an important weekend to be ahead of his teammate and to get the third place. Not cause for celebration for Ferrari. They came here for better than that. But for Mercedes, it's the winning habit. 8 races gone in 2019. 8 race victories for the Constructors' Champions. And for Lewis Hamilton, 6 wins in the last 7 races. Who can stop him? Just a few days to go until the next race in Austria. It's lights out, away we go. Verstappen gets an awful start. He's already been bypassed by the 2 Mercedes, Norris and Raikkonen as well. Leclerc leads from Bottas, then comes Lando Norris ahead of Lewis Hamilton. Kimi Raikkonen then slots in behind them, and behind Raikkonen, Sebastian Vettel, and then comes Pierre Gasly and Antonio Giovinazzi. Great start for Charles Leclerc. Into turn 3 we go. Norris on the inside of Hamilton. Hamilton goes wide. Lando Norris might get a decent getaway, and wheel to wheel with the Mercedes there. The 2 British drivers really going for it. Hamilton eases ahead and Norris slots back behind him.
And we see, I think Gasly's ahead of Verstappen even in the Red Bull team. An awful start. It bogged down. I think he went into anti-stall. It was a very long red light today compared to last weekend. And it looks like it caught Max Verstappen out.
Max Verstappen has lost more positions on the first lap today than his previous 14 races combined, as here goes the Ferrari of Sebastian Vettel squeezing past Lando Norris into turn 3, but Norris is going to come back at Sebastian Vettel now towards turn 4, and he's got DRS assistance as well. Is the McLaren going to go round the outside of the Ferrari into turn 4? Vettel brakes just that fraction later, and that saves the day, but he runs wide, and he's still a little bit under pressure in this battle for 5th place. Look, Verstappen's a lot closer on this particular occasion.
I need more power, mate. He's scripting a lot.
Old message, because I think he's got enough power, and he has. Into turn 3. That'll please the Dutch crowd here. Verstappen has Raikkonen in his sights towards turn 3, under braking. Who's prepared to brake the latest? Max Verstappen is. Kimi Raikkonen didn't put up much of a fight for the second lap running. Verstappen makes a place at turn 3.
Tell me when to stop pushing.
Target lap time 10.0, it's good like this.
The team having to kind of put the reins on a bit as Norris dives down the inside on Kimi Raikkonen, and Raikkonen gives him space. Valtteri Bottas into the pit lane, and Sebastian Vettel, they might have done the dummy down at Ferrari. No, they haven't, because Sebastian Vettel is coming in too, and that is a very neat move indeed by Ferrari, because by pitting Sebastian Vettel then, that kept Bottas, well, it kept Bottas stationary for longer, but they weren't ready, Martin, with the tyres, and whatever ground they made up by coming in when they did, they then lost by a very lengthy pit stop, 6.1 seconds. Vettel was stationary for.
Box, 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 box. Hey, firm, we're going to do that.
So whatever's gone wrong on that front wing, Lewis Hamilton can't run it for any longer in this race. And this is Gasly and Raikkonen. Now we've seen these two really going for it so far this afternoon. Gasly's finally got his man, Martin.
Come on, mate, let's get it done early. Let's do it.
Verstappen is going to send the Red Bull ring absolutely crazy if he can make this move, and out of turn 3 now he's got a very good chance indeed. There's one car length in it as Verstappen goes round the outside again, and this time before the corner arrives, Max Verstappen is up into the podium positions, and they absolutely love that.
Oh, I'm losing power, guys.
Meanwhile in the cockpit, all is not well for Max Verstappen. Losing power. Here he comes down towards turn 3. Is Verstappen going to go down the inside? Yes, he is, under braking. Max Verstappen manages to clear Valtteri Bottas. He started second in Verstappen. He was down towards position 9 by the end of the first lap, and he is back up to second once again.
Oh, yes.
All right, this is game on.
Honda have won just one Grand Prix in the last 27 years. It was Jenson Button, the Hungarian Grand Prix in 2006. They're on the verge here of getting the lead in the Austrian Grand Prix as Verstappen goes down the inside once again. He's wheel to wheel with Charles Leclerc, and Verstappen comes out still alongside that Ferrari. Down towards turn 4. Verstappen's got DRS once again. He's so close. He's wheel to wheel once again, but it is a very tricky part of the track to overtake if you're not ahead going into the braking zone. And fair play, bravo Charles Leclerc, that was great defending. Towards turn 3, is he going to go inside or outside? Which way's Verstappen going to go here? DRS wide open, gaining on the Ferrari, switches early Verstappen, late braking, Leclerc this time might just have to give way as he goes off the track, and when he comes back on, Max Verstappen has just sent Holland into raptures. He leads the Austrian Grand Prix. What a battle this has been, and on that occasion, Leclerc powerless to defend his lead.
He turned in on me.
Mate, there was nothing wrong with that, mate. Nothing wrong with it.
What the hell is that?
The stewards are now looking at that incident between Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen, but it might not be over yet. What are Hamilton and Vettel going to do in these last couple of laps? Because Sebastian Vettel might just get the chance as well to get past the Mercedes. As it is, Hamilton's teammate Valtteri Bottas looks comfortable in 3rd place, but Hamilton's 4th place has just disappeared as he locks up. Sebastian Vettel goes past into turn 4, and Hamilton's run of podium finishes is going to come to an end here at the Red Bull Ring this afternoon. Max Verstappen is going to give his fans cause for celebration once again. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 victories in Formula 1 for Max Verstappen, and this, number 6, was very much the best. Verstappen wins the Austrian Grand Prix, but a round of applause amidst all the hugs and celebrations at Red Bull for Charles Leclerc as well, who just couldn't fend off Verstappen in the end.
Oh, would have done that after that one. Great job, boys.
Mercedes on the podium through Valtteri Bottas. Honda on the podium once again and winners for the first time since 2006. Charles Leclerc for the moment still waiting for his first win. Max Verstappen, they came, they saw, and he conquered. But will that result stand? What an afternoon it's been. It's lights out and away we go. Hamilton, I think, got a better start, but Bottas is just ahead at the moment. Covers off his teammate. Leclerc in third from Verstappen, and then Sebastian Vettel and Pierre Gasly. Lando Norris looks to be making a decent start. He's level with Daniel Ricciardo already. Into Village we go. Bottas ahead of Hamilton, who's escaped trouble this time around, unlike last year. Leclerc is ahead of the Red Bull of Max Verstappen. Then comes Sebastian Vettel in fifth.
Somehow they all appear to be pointing in the right direction at the moment, side by side as they were through the first few turns. But Bottas has the lead. Hamilton wants it straight away. But as you say, at least he's still in the race, unlike last year when he was turned around in the second corner.
Hamilton thought for one moment of diving round the outside of Brooklands, but he couldn't get through there. We're onto the old start-finish straight and blasting towards Copse. Valtteri Bottas leads Lewis Hamilton. Further back, Ricciardo and Norris going wheel to wheel through Copse. Norris, can he come out ahead? Just ahead of Daniel Ricciardo, but they're still battling onwards towards Maggots. 2 into 1 doesn't go. Norris just ahead of Ricciardo. This is brilliant, brilliant stuff. The two Silver Arrows racing in the opening laps here, and Hamilton is just inches away from his teammate as they make the turn left-handed through the loop and onto Aintree and now the Wellington Straight. And this time, Hamilton is that much closer to Valtteri Bottas, but this time they're going to have to go wheel-to-wheel through Brooklands, and somehow Bottas is staying ahead, but he's got a bit too deep. And Hamilton through Luffield. Can he take the lead of the British Grand Prix? They're ready to celebrate. Now they can start, because Lewis Hamilton, the man they've come to cheer, leads the British Grand Prix. Bottas, though, is going to come back at him through Copse. Bottas retakes the lead. Wow! There's a terrific scrap here between Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen behind it, and there goes Max Verstappen diving down the inside, has to switch now to go round the outside. The wheel to wheel again, unlike in Austria.
This time he's in trouble.
Verstappen has to come off second best, and he's conceded a bit of ground here because Sebastian Vettel's right on his tail. Vettel goes down the inside of Brooklands. Somehow Verstappen fends off the Ferrari. Gasly now might get in on the act as well. As into the pits comes Charles Leclerc, and into the pits comes Max Verstappen. On go the medium compound tyre. That's a U set. On go medium for Max Verstappen as well. And look, they're now wheel to wheel down the pit lane, but Verstappen has actually got about a metre advantage, and they have swapped round in the pits. It was all down to the work of the pit crew. Verstappen gets ahead of Leclerc.
Leclerc on medium compound tyres, and Verstappen too.
And even better, they get out just ahead of Carlos Sainz as well. He's gone wide. Has all the good work become undone as Verstappen tries to fight back and then sees Charles Leclerc swoop past him. Now he pulls out to go alongside the Ferrari. It's wheel to wheel down into Brooklands. Leclerc is back out in front of Verstappen. This is absolutely brilliant racing between two supremely talented drivers, and they are giving it everything here. Here comes Verstappen again. He's almost pushed onto the grass. Somehow Leclerc stayed ahead. And I think Verstappen had to back off a little bit there because he was almost on the grass on the inside at Stowe. This is getting serious. The yellow flag is for Antonio Giovinazzi, who seems to have dropped it in the gravel on the exit of the Vale chicane. So
the full safety car as well.
Full safety
That's
car.
Stack them back up.
Now,
that'll play into Hamilton's hands.
Well,
will it
where
not?
is Lewis Hamilton? Hamilton surely coming into the pits. Yes, he is.
He was negative. He wasn't going to beat Bottas under normal racing circumstances by only a second, but it's so much quicker to make a stop under a safety car. Even a sort of generally safe stop like that is surely going to give Hamilton the lead of this race, Crofty.
It will do. He can go to the end on those tyres, no problem at all.
Lewis Hamilton leads from Bottas. Further back, Alex Albon and Lando Norris going for it. Down the inside of Abbey. Albon thought he had it, but he hasn't. Lando Norris has it covered. Bottas, Vettel, Gasly, Verstappen, there down the inside. Goes Albon on Norris once again. Waiting to pick up the scraps is Hulkenberg. Norris has the inside line through the loop, and the Renault is now going wheel to wheel with Alex Albon as well. Hulkenberg trying to get past, but on this occasion, and Hulkenberg might have lost out to his teammate, Daniel Ricciardo. Gasly fends off Verstappen. There goes Ricciardo down the inside of Hulkenberg. Here comes Perez down the inside, and there might have been contact. Yes, Perez has lost his front wing.
Verstappen wide again. He's now going to have to defend against Leclerc.
He's been doing all the attacking on Leclerc. Now he's defending. They do touch wheels as Charles Leclerc barges his way through, and Max Verstappen hangs out round the outside to try and regain the place, which he does. Behind them, Carlos Sainz is now getting involved as well. How many more laps of action can Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc give us? Hopefully another 27. Leclerc is definitely closer to Gasly on this particular lap. Can he stay close enough to make a move around the outside of Village? He's going to go for it. It's Charles Leclerc. That is absolutely epic.
Absolutely beautiful. I say the word again. Wow.
Verstappen's going for it on Sebastian Vettel. He pulls out late once again, and he's got the job done. Going into Stowe, where Valtteri Bottas has pulled off some great moves. Oh no! Sebastian Vettel's gone into Max Verstappen. And under braking, he just couldn't slow down, and Vettel and Verstappen come together as Gasly and Leclerc go through. Verstappen had pulled off the move, he was ahead of the Ferrari, and then he got rear-ended by Sebastian Vettel, and that has totally destroyed his race.
What the... Man, what was he doing?
Lewis Hamilton, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 British Grand Prix wins.
He does it, fastest lap as well on the last lap.
All the crowd, thank you so much for all coming out. I appreciate you all, and to the team, thank you so much for the opportunity to be a part of this.
An incredible British Grand Prix it was. A real treat for a record-breaking crowd. The future secured for Silverstone for at least 5 more years. The 70th British Grand Prix won in a record-breaking 6th time by Lewis Hamilton, championship leader, and a champion performance on a champion Grand Prix. And it's lights out and away we go. It's a tentative start for everybody, but Hamilton gets away well, as does Bottas, and Verstappen's dropping back as Raikkonen is already ahead of him as well. Verstappen on the inside of Grosjean going wide. Valtteri Bottas through turn 1. That'll give Kimi Raikkonen encouragement. Where's Pierre Gasly? He's heading backwards in the Red Bull as well. Into turn 2. Hamilton from Bottas, who's made up for the mistake. Raikkonen, Verstappen, Grosjean. Then comes Sainz and Hülkenberg. Gasly and Leclerc going wide. There is the Alfa Romeo of Giovinazzi. Oh, there's a spin! There's a spin, it's Sergio Perez. Perez is out of this race. Sergio Perez, he's behind Kevin Magnussen, and there he goes, sailing, literally, to the other side of the track. Magnussen's rather holding up this trio, and that's helping Sebastian Vettel. As Kimi Raikkonen struggling for traction there. Sebastian Vettel alongside him into turn 1. This could be interesting as they concertina up. Kimi Raikkonen says, thank you very much indeed. I thought for one moment Sebastian Vettel was going to come out on top in this battle. Oh, that is Carlos Sainz. And Carlos Sainz has managed to keep the engine running. To be right on board now. What happened?
Yeah, he's gone onto that, there we go, that's the skating rink, the drag strip. Lucky to keep that going as well. Vettel then pits for slick tyres. They're in the clouds of the gods now. If it doesn't rain, they're going to look very smart and they'll get up to temperature eventually, as long as they don't fly off the road.
Has Verstappen just been off the track?
He's had the spin there. Oh, look at that. Underneath, that doesn't do the underneath the car, and all the little aero pieces a lot of good. It's no grip at all.
Mate, you shouldn't give me the soft tyres. It's way too hard.
Norris has gone off as well.
He's just retiring from the race now.
Oh, no.
Oh, we got another spinner there while we're watching that.
I've lost power. I've lost power. Gear sync's gone. I've lost power.
Leclerc has gone into the barriers at the penultimate turn, and a second Ferrari in the space of 2 races here at the German Grand Prix has ended up into the barriers. It was Sebastian Vettel last year, it's Charles Leclerc this year.
Oh, he had a tiny bit of understeer, and now it's just going to skate straight into the barriers. it wasn't exactly pushing that hard. It just snapped to the back. He had to counterstay it to turn into the slide.
No! And I think Lewis Hamilton's gone off as well, but he's carried on.
But he's lost his front wing, hasn't he?
There's damage to the front wing, certainly. Hamilton went off at exactly the same spot. As you can see, managed to keep going.
So Lewis, how skatey that is, and just a little clout of the barrier, but he had some momentum when he hit the barrier, and now he obviously hasn't been able to go around the bollard.
Verstappen, Hulkenberg, Bottas, Albon, Sainz thinking about a move on Hamilton. Is he going to go down the inside? Not on this occasion. Vettel's going to look down the inside on Pierre Gasly. There's a 5-second time penalty for Lewis Hamilton for going the wrong side of the bollard. Vettel gets past Pierre Gasly and makes his way up into 8th place. There is the Renault of Nico Hulkenberg, and he's ending his home Grand Prix in the barriers, and another car in the barriers at the final corner.
That's just plain understeered off, hasn't it? And then that's caught him out. And then he actually hitting the brakes was the worst thing he could do at that point.
We've got a gambler on slicks.
Who's that?
Lance Stroll.
Lance Stroll, they're going to be watching the data there to see if it is good for slicks or not. They might as well take a gamble. He's down in 14th place. Look at the difference in the tyres that's helping out Verstappen, but Hamilton in a bit of trouble here, and Alex Albon will go round the outside. Gasly and Sainz waiting behind. Sainz goes down the inside. Now wheel to wheel with Lewis Hamilton. Albon has lost out. Gasly's waiting to have a go at him. Sainz couldn't quite get past the Mercedes.
Hamilton must have had some kind of issue in turns 2 and 3, because that pack was right on his tail by the time he arrived at 6.
Down the inside of Alex Albon goes Pierre Gasly, and this time he is lighting up his tyres as Albon goes wide. And from 4th, Albon is all the way now down in 7th place and make that 8th as Sebastian Vettel gets past him as well.
And Verstappen then, the first of the front runners to go with the slicks.
Hamilton has stayed out. Verstappen back on the track again now, behind Stroll, and they took the gamble behind the safety car to go onto the slicks.
How's it gone this bad?
Back out onto the racetrack. Hamilton now down in 12th because, of course, he had to serve the 5-second penalty.
Kvyat will have DRS, the rear wing opens, the big letterbox in the rear wing opens, and he sails past in the Toro Rosso Honda.
Sliding out, that's Valtteri Bottas! Bottas is out of the race!
You can see the slightly damper track there, just enough to loosen off the heavily loaded left rear tyre, straight to the scene of the accident.
The foot is flat to the floor for Sebastian Vettel. Lance Stroll defends down the inside, goes very early to defend, but is powerless to defend. The speed of the Ferrari carries Sebastian Vettel past, and you're either wearing orange at Hockenheim or you're wearing red at Hockenheim, and it's the red fans that are absolutely loving that one, because the homegrown hero is up into the podium. And they're going wide, that's Gasly. There's a problem there with his front wing.
He tried to overtake the Toro Rosso down into turn 6. I just saw that before. I think they might have touched Crofty. And I think he just runs into the back of him as he pulls to the right.
He does.
No!
So Albon went for the defence and Gasly was going to the right. They both went right together.
Danny Kvyat was in 2nd place. Listen to the roar for Sebastian Vettel. 20th. Up to 2nd. It is fireworks and flames for Max Verstappen, the winner of the German Grand Prix. Sebastian Vettel from 20th to 2nd, and keep the applause going for Danny Kvyat, a 3rd podium in Formula 1. Mercedes celebrated at their home race, and in the end, Toro Rosso, Ferrari and Red Bull stops the juggernauts that was Mercedes and Lewis Hamilton. They didn't score. Max Verstappen, Sebastian Vettel and Danny Kvyat were there to pick up the pieces, and everybody has a massive smile on their faces at the Hockenheim ring. What a race that was. It's lights out and away we go. Verstappen this time around does get an excellent start, and Hamilton too, already on the tail of his teammate Valtteri Bottas. Bottas coming back at Verstappen, 3 abreast with the 2 Ferraris behind. Bottas locks up his brakes. Verstappen on the inside into the lead. Hamilton gets squeezed out a bit. Sebastian Vettel might lose out as well as he goes wheel to wheel with the McLaren of Carlos Sainz. Verstappen leads from Bottas, who looks up again. Hamilton is trying round the outside of his teammate and might squeeze through on the inside now into second place, and he does.
Verstappen will be cheering inside that car. The 2 Mercedes squabbling, played beautifully into his hands. He leads the Grand Prix. We think he's got some front wing damage as well. Valtteri Bottas tried to brave it. Yeah, and look at that. It's a wonder he didn't puncture the left rear tyre.
Charles Leclerc making contact with Valtteri Bottas.
It looked a bit naughty, didn't it, from that angle?
Rather aggressively went to the left. The front wing end plates has been dislodged, I think, on Valtteri Bottas's Mercedes, as through goes Sebastian Vettel down into turn 1. Danny Kvyat's going to try again down the inside. He telegraphed that move on the last lap. Albon saw it coming, and Kvyat took advantage. The switcheroo has taken place. Albon just ahead now, going into turn 2. Kvyat, though, forcing his teammate the long way round the outside. This is great racing from the 2 Toro Rossos, neither giving an inch here. Kvyat and Albon continuing out of turn 3, all the way up to turn 4. Nobody's giving an inch, and eventually Alex Albon is forced out wide. That was super racing there, and brilliant control from Danny Kvyat to take 12th place ahead of Alex Albon. They were millimetres away from each other, but that was superb. Red Bull have blinked first, and now this is going to be down to the crew once again to try and put in another world record pit stop.
Okay, Lewis, it's hammer time.
Lewis Hamilton has stopped and is away. Out into the fray once again comes Lewis Hamilton, and that gap is an awful lot bigger than it was a while ago. Hamilton could just about see the race leader. Bottas up to 11th and targeting 6th in this race as Lando Norris goes wheel to wheel with Kevin Magnussen, and he kept his foot in there, and Kevin Magnussen gave him just about enough room. But here we have another back marker right in a place where Max Verstappen doesn't want him, and this time around it's his former teammate.
I think he made a mistake. I think Verstappen made a mistake in there somewhere.
Well, it's his former teammate Daniel Ricciardo. I get the feeling that he's getting affected by the turbulent wake of that Renault ahead of him. So Hamilton, once more, right on the tail of that Red Bull and trying to hang on to the Red Bull around that corner. Ricciardo is about to be lapped, and Hamilton is gaining now on Verstappen. He's gaining. He manages to get round Ricciardo. Goes a long way round turn 1. Verstappen just about holds on, but now Hamilton is much closer as they head towards turn 2. Leader and second place, almost wheel to wheel through that corner. Hamilton is trying absolutely everything. Verstappen is defending for his life, but he is still under threat, and this time Hamilton goes round the outside in turn 4, goes off the track in doing so. Verstappen keeps his place out in front.
Hamilton knew he'd have to give that place back, and because Verstappen was so tight through turn 3, such an acute angle, Hamilton just had him wherever he wanted him in terms of position on the track, but then he just got a bit too ambitious up into turn 4.
Now here's interesting. So Mercedes taking a bit of a gamble here with Lewis Hamilton. I mentioned the tyres. Would they be able to survive till the end of the race? They're going to put the medium on Lewis Hamilton as well, send him back out into this race and say, right, go catch Max Verstappen.
Has that caught Red Bull out? Has that caught them napping?
I don't know how much tyres will be left at the end.
It doesn't matter, Lewis, just give it everything.
Striking distance in 6 laps. Oh dear, can they take it down at Red Bull? That gives us 2 laps where Hamilton might be able to go for it.
Tyres are dead.
Copy.
And there is confirmation then that Max Verstappen is not happy with the condition of his rubber, and we can get a close-up look here, Martin. It just looks horrible, doesn't it? Bottas, he's scrapping away at the moment with Lando Norris. And just about to see, out of that corner, Valtteri Bottas get ahead of the McLaren. 41 laps ago, Max Verstappen put those tyres on. That's why he's struggling for grip. Hamilton, much fresher tyres, and now with the banks of the crowd and a packed Budapest, Hamilton chases down the main straight, pulls out to the right-hand side and makes his way round the long way and into the lead. Hamilton passes Verstappen. Mercedes strategy has got it right, and on lap 67, Hamilton, from being second, might now just think about a 7th Hungarian Grand Prix win. There goes Vettel. Leclerc thought about defending aggressively. Vettel forces Leclerc a little bit wide there. Sebastian Vettel surges past his teammate and up into the podium places. It's been a magnificent drive, and he rounds the final corner now for a magnificent 7th win at the Hungaroring. It is victory for Lewis Hamilton. He wins the Hungarian Grand Prix. Max Verstappen started on pole, gets the fastest lap, and probably a bigger cheer from the Orange Army here to roar him on. The Mercedes strategy team dropped the champagne, but they didn't drop the ball when it came to giving Lewis Hamilton the perfect chance to take victory. He heads off on the summer break now with a big advantage over his teammate Valtteri Bottas. Verstappen, though, has put himself in the championship hunt, and he's sure to come back for more when Formula One returns at the end of August. And it's lights out and away we go. Great start from Albon. Sainz has stalled on the grid. Sebastian Vettel tucks in behind Charles Leclerc. Lewis Hamilton on the inside, trying to get it. Vettel, Kimi Räikkönen has been made contact with and is bouncing over the curb, as is Nico Hülkenberg back there in the Renault as well. Charles Leclerc leads them down through Eau Rouge from Hamilton, and Vettel and Bottas in 4th. Behind Bottas comes Verstappen, and we see them now on the Kemmel Straight. A long lead there for Charles Leclerc. Here comes Sebastian Vettel again. He's going wheel to wheel with Lewis Hamilton. The Ferrari is ahead and into 2nd place as Bottas tucks behind his teammate into 4th. And that is out. That is Max Verstappen out already. And you can hear the groans. Let's have a look here on the inside. Räikkönen and Verstappen, that's where the contact was made there.
That could well have damaged the steering rod. That's the risk of La Source. Max will have to take the blame for that one, I'm afraid. He's got, look, you can see his steering's not activating as it is. It goes at the top of the hill. Well, he nearly took somebody else with him.
Ferrari, Mercedes. Charles Leclerc ahead of Sebastian Vettel. No lockups so far going through the chicane. Lando Norris is in 5th, ahead of the 2 Hasses, and then the racing point of Sergio Perez. And Leclerc doing very nicely indeed to pull as big a gap as he possibly can as his teammate Sebastian Vettel locks up, and that could cost him dear going into the source. Lewis Hamilton's already on his tail now, just pulls into behind the rear wing of the Ferrari to get the slipstream as they begin the climb up Radion and along the Kemmel Straight. Charles Leclerc leads the Belgian Grand Prix. That is a brilliant camera angle showing the speed of these cars.
It's Bottas quick though. Bottas has got the slipstream on Hamilton rather than Hamilton on Vettel, but Hamilton's got it covered. So he must have had a little bit of a moment in the middle of Eau Rouge.
Is he close enough to have a challenge on Kevin Magnussen here? He is going to have a go. Diving down the inside is Alex Albon. I think Magnussen made that quite easy for him, but it was nice to see that when the opportunity was there, he went for it. Pierre Gasly giving it everything with Sergio Perez. Kimi Räikkönen is just ahead. We're back on board with a Toro Rosso. It could be Hakkinen, Schumacher and Riccardo Zonta all over again. This time it's Perez ahead of Gasly, ahead of Räikkönen. On lap 19 of this Belgian Grand Prix, and the standing ovation in memory of Antoine Hubert. We tragically lost that rising star this weekend here at Spa.
Leclerc then 6.3 seconds ahead now as these two fight over 2nd place. And Hamilton's much closer.
Here he comes, Lewis Hamilton. You can hear the cheers from some of the British fans waving the Hamilton flags. He pulls out alongside Sebastian Vettel. He pulls ahead of Sebastian Vettel, and there was the cheer from the fans that have made it over from the UK. Hamilton is up to second place. So Ricciardo looking to see which way Kvyat's going. He pushes him as far to the left-hand side as he possibly can. He couldn't defend and keep the place. Stays ahead of Alex Albon as Pierre Gasly now has Grosjean and then Giovinazzi, who pitted last of all behind him. And Albon's going to go the long way round Rivage, going wheel to wheel with Daniel Ricciardo. Not often you see a move happening there. No Name Corner is next. That's bold if he's going to go past Ricciardo there. Ricciardo might look back on that one day and appreciate it, but he probably doesn't now.
No, I was just about to say, you need to get up very early in the morning to go around the outside of Daniel Ricciardo, and Alex Albon was clearly up early this morning.
Crack a dawn.
That was a great move.
Excellent.
That will go down very well with the Red Bull boys.
Absolutely.
And girls.
Oh, and there goes Hülkenberg on Grosjean. And he's gone wheel to wheel. That could Nico Hülkenberg tipped as the man to replace Romain Grosjean next season. We're getting a close look at the Haas. Lance Stroll moves through, and an opportune movement from him as well. Hamilton now through the middle sector is throwing down an epic challenge.
They all want Hamilton's crown, but he's not going to be easily beaten, is he? He never gives up.
Charles Leclerc standing on the top of the podium for the first time ever would be a pretty good high. That is the Alfa Romeo of Antonio Giovinazzi, and he's gone off at Pouon.
He dropped it mid-corner, that's unusual.
Yeah.
Antonio, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Brilliant. Brilliant news. That's what I wanted to hear. Ferrari came here with the advantage on paper. It's not been plain sailing on the asphalt, but Charles Leclerc can now see the checkered flag, and for the first time ever, Charles Leclerc wins a Formula One Grand Prix. Charles Leclerc wins the Belgian Grand Prix. Lewis Hamilton is second. Valtteri Bottas will come home for third.
Norris was stopped on the line as well.
Yeah.
I'm losing power, it's going.
Keep going for now,
I can't, it's broken! It's broken! It's off.
Well, this is Alex Albon going onto the grass to get past Sergio Perez.
Yes! Congratulations. Yes, this one is for Antoine. Feels good, but yeah, difficult to enjoy on a weekend like this.
Charles Leclerc, who didn't get past the first corner last season, got past every corner today to win the Belgian Grand Prix. Lewis Hamilton extends his championship lead. It's a weekend to acknowledge the one we've lost and the one that we found. Antoine Hubert, rest in peace. Charles Leclerc, bravo, winner of the Belgian Grand Prix. It's lights out and away we go. Leclerc gets away well. Hamilton and Bottas now jockeying for position. And Hamilton coming alongside Charles Leclerc with Bottas now with some free space. Sebastian Vettel behind him. Ricciardo on the outside of Hülkenberg. Leclerc goes into the first chicane ahead and just ahead as well by a matter of inches. And the Mercedes gets a bit
Verstappen at the back, I think. Verstappen in trouble at the back.
Outbraking himself and having to go through the chicane along with Sergio Perez as well.
Broken front wing, I believe, if on the Red Bull that was at the back of the pack.
Hamilton got a little bit pinched, but he's ahead of his teammate Valtteri Bottas. Is into the second chicane we go, and Nico Hülkenberg goes past Sebastian Vettel, the Renault, getting ahead of the Ferrari. That is bad news indeed. Then here we are at the start once again. Pierre Gasly just ahead of Max Verstappen, as you said, Martin was hanging back, being cautious.
Yeah, Max being extremely cautious.
They slowed down, and his closing speed was a bit more, I think, than he actually felt was going to be happening. And we are on board, wow, with Alex Albon, and boy was he late on the brakes there. Carlos Sainz might have thought he was safe, he wasn't, but he's going to fight back now into the first of the two Lesmo corners. Alex Albon on the outside, and Carlos Sainz, and they touch, and Albon goes off onto the gravel, and he's going to lose places as a result of that. Meanwhile, Daniel Ricciardo has just got past his teammate Nico Hülkenberg, and Ricciardo moves up into 5th place. Sebastian Vettel, and he spun Oh, he's coming onto the track just as Lance Stroll goes past him as well. And Stroll now comes back onto the track, and Pierre Gasly in the Toro Rosso has to go wide, all down at the Ascari chicane.
I think I have damage, the front left.
Right, so that's Sebastian Vettel spinning all on his own. Comes back under the track. Oh dear, oh dear. Now, he might not have seen Stroll, but I don't know if he was looking to see who was coming through.
Just came back on the circuit like an idiot.
Lance did the same then to a Toro Rosso.
Sebastian Vettel has just been given a 10-second stop-go penalty. Hamilton now pulls out to have a go at Leclerc. Leclerc stays ahead by about a car length and a half. This is brilliant racing.
Very smart positioning of his car there from Charles Leclerc, and he did, as you say, get some DRS.
He's going for it again, Lewis Hamilton. Got a great exit out of the chicane. Round the curve, a grande they go. Is it a grande move from Lewis Hamilton towards the Della Roggia chicane? Leclerc's on the inside. Hamilton goes onto the gravel and has to take to the escape road, and you can hear the cheers from Monza all the way back to Stevenage. The Ferrari fans loved it.
He didn't leave me a car's width there, pushed me off.
Whatever anyone else might think of this move, the home tifosi absolutely loved it. Was there enough car's width there? No. He has been shown the black and white flag.
That means don't do that again.
Carlos Sainz has left the pit.
Yeah, it's a loose wheel. They had a problem with it. They had a problem with it in the pit stop. They took it off, put it on, took it off again, and then put it on again. And that is such a shame. That's a race retirement. They have to stop, otherwise they would have been disqualified.
That is Danny Kvyat, who just pitted a lap before. Oh, it doesn't sound good. Oh dear. As always, Leclerc locks up, too far behind. Leclerc locks up, goes through the chicane. Hamilton now is right on the rear wing of that Ferrari, and once again to the Curva Grande we go, and Hamilton is going to have a go. Which way this time? Wanted to go round the outside, has to switch to the inside. Leclerc is making it very difficult indeed by zigzagging from one side to the other of the track, and Hamilton can't force his way past.
Some dangerous driving going on.
Copy loose, we're seeing it.
He's driving for his life out there, isn't he? Trying to keep that Mercedes behind him.
I have much tyres left.
Just keep that pressure on Lewis, you're forcing him into errors.
Oh, lock up from Lewis Hamilton goes on into the runoff area at that first chicane.
Second.
Well, they're already cheering in the grandstands for that one, and it has cost him second. Lewis Hamilton, after putting the pressure on Charles Leclerc to make mistakes, has now made one himself.
I think that releases Valtteri Bottas into a very handy position there on his fresher tyres.
So hunt him down. There's 12 laps to go.
The gap was 1.6 seconds, it's now half a second, and he's got DRS as well. Will Valtteri Bottas be able to go for it into this chicane? No, but what he needs now is to avoid blocking up in the way that he did. He just needed a good exit out of that chicane, and then the chance was there. He can see the celebration starting. He's got one more corner, the famous Parabolica to go. Mercedes threw everything at him today. Charles Leclerc has coped brilliantly. He won in Spa. He wins in Monza. Charles Leclerc is the winner of the 2019 Italian Grand Prix.
You've done it.
Charles Leclerc celebrating. Lewis Hamilton on the podium for the 6th consecutive year here at Monza. We mentioned too that Renault take a big haul of points in the Constructors' Championship. McLaren, they scored with Lando Norris today. He finished 10th in the end. Antonio Giovinazzi, 9th, Italian point scorer there. His best finish in Formula One. Verstappen came home to finish 8th behind Sergio Perez. Alex Albon couldn't quite get past Hulkenberg. He had to take 6th. George Russell in the Williams finished 14th in the end. We lost Sainz, Kvyat and Magnussen as retirements in this race. Charles Leclerc punches the air in delight. It's lights out, away we go. It wasn't a hold for very long at the start. Leclerc gets away well ahead of Hamilton and Vettel. And then on the inside, Alex Albon on Valtteri Bottas, making up a place at the start maybe. It's Max Verstappen ahead of Bottas, then comes Albon, and then Carlos Sainz as well. Vettel is really going for it with Hamilton. Carlos Sainz almost gets a little bit squirrely coming out of turn 3. Hamilton fighting Sebastian Vettel.
Hamilton's going to be under pressure with the sheer speed of the Ferrari through the flat kink of turn 6 into the braking tone of turn 7. And he goes to the inside, he covers the apex of the corner. Critical for Hamilton.
The Ferrari speed is giving Lewis Hamilton a lot to think about. Vettel's coming back at him again. Hamilton defending for all his life on this opening lap. Then Verstappen ahead of Valtteri Bottas and Alex Albon as well. Look at that. Charles Leclerc flying out in front. You can't restrain him here in Singapore tonight.
I have a puncture. Yeah, Hulkenberg crashed into me, I think.
So Sainz is taking a normal racing line. Hulkenberg's just arriving on the scene at the wrong time for him. Right, on board with Daniel Ricciardo, who's now caught up to the back of Danny Kvyat. He's got the bit between his teeth, and he wants to go for it at places you don't normally see cars getting past. Now, we've seen Felipe Massa on the bridge get past Bruno Senna before. Can Daniel Ricciardo do the same on Kvyat? No, he can't. Waiting in the back there to try and pick up some scraps is Lance Stroll. They nearly had to pick up scraps of carbon fibre. He somehow avoided going into the back of the Renault, who's going to go down the inside of Danny Kvyat at turn 14. Nicely done. Stroll gets a good exit as well out of that turn, and Kvyat's lost 2 places in 1 corner.
Vettel pits. Verstappen nearly bounced back onto the racetrack. He got in so hot into that tight left-hander into the pit lane. And away, that was a quick stop from Ferrari, wasn't it?
Well, 3 seconds he was stationary. Verstappen 2.3 seconds.
It'll be very close between Leclerc and Vettel.
Well, Sebastian Vettel was stationary for 3 seconds, Leclerc 2.4 seconds. That 6/10 might just be what he needs. Has Hamilton got enough life in those tyres to really hit hammer time
so close.
And
Look
get
at
out
these two.
ahead
Look
of
at
Vettel?
these two.
Well, Vettel's going to get ahead of Leclerc here, and he is.
I thought he would. I don't think Vettel's pit stop was that slow.
What the hell? I mean,
Charles, that was the best things we could do. Head down, the race is long.
Yeah, my head is down and it will be down until the race. I just want to let you know my feeling.
Sebastian Vettel goes down the inside of Pierre Gasly. This could be contact. Gasly is forced off the track there as Sebastian Vettel was coming through, whether the Frenchman wanted it or not. And Vettel has put himself now up into 2nd place. He wasn't going to hang around there, and there is Max Verstappen ahead of Lance Stroll. So Verstappen moves up into 6th place. Oh, and that could have been very, very bad for both drivers there. Gasly getting out of the way just in time before there was major contact. This is Antonio Giovinazzi. Nobody ahead of him and leading a Grand Prix at the same time. That looked like a fairly easy overtake, that one. Antonio didn't put up too much of a fight, the Italian against the Ferrari. Riding on board now with Alex Albon, very nicely done, through turn 5, and he's passed the Alfa Romeo that has been using the medium tyre for the entirety of this race, and he's trying to defend against Daniel Ricciardo, and they contact at turn 7, and Giovinazzi comes off worst, and you hope that there's no damage on either. Giovinazzi now has another Renault right behind him, and Lando Norris, who we haven't mentioned for quite a while, is running in 10th place.
It'd be impressive if Ricciardo hasn't got right rear puncture or damage. He has. He has.
But he just sees a gap and he goes for it. That's what Ricciardo does.
Okay, I have a puncture or something.
We have a Williams in the wall, and I think that could be George Russell. Grosjean and Russell tangling. Oh, Russell gets tagged by Grosjean and sent into the wall.
It's at this point you give up on that corner. I think he just got more traction off the corner. He got more acceleration.
Here goes Hulkenberg and Stroll. Stroll's got the inside line though on Hulkenberg, who switches round, wants to get decent traction coming out of that corner, and does so. Hulkenberg ahead of Stroll.
Norris maintaining his place there in 7th, as best of the rest after the top 3 team, the big 3. And He's got just...
Oh, it's a big lock up there by Lance Stroll. And he's got Antonio Giovinazzi with him. And he's got
Puncture.
damage. He's got a puncture, has Lance Stroll. Now, Sergio Perez, what's happened to the Racing Point? Perez going very slowly indeed, and this looks like mechanical trouble for the Mexican.
Checo, we need to stop the car on track. We need to stop the car on track. So find a position to stop. We need to stop on track. You have 5 cars behind.
Down the inside goes Danny Ricciardo on Daniel Kvyat. And has he, by the time they get to the chicane, run out of room? Yes, he has, and Romain Grosjean might say thank you very much here as well as we head over the Anderson Bridge. Grosjean on the outside, Ricciardo on the inside. Ricciardo pushes Grosjean a little bit wide. They make contact, but Grosjean manages to get through. Here's Kevin Magnussen and Pierre Gasly going into turn 14. Gasly's ahead, Hulkenberg's ahead. Magnussen's lost 2 places in 1 corner. Happened to Danny Kvyat a bit earlier on. Carlos Sainz now racing with Daniel Ricciardo, and Sainz has got ahead of Ricciardo. Kimi Raikkonen's under pressure once again from Kvyat. Kvyat's going to have a go into turn 1. Oh dear.
Broken suspension.
That is Kimi Raikkonen out of the Grand Prix. Danny Kvyat got it all wrong, braking and arriving from late. Is that another safety car in this
definitely.
race?
Without question, he's right in the firing line.
For the first time in 2019, Sebastian Vettel takes the checkered flag and wins the Singapore Grand Prix. And a win that, unlike in Canada, will stand this time around.
What's significant here, Crofty, is they've just won 3 straight races on 3 completely different types of racetrack.
Exactly.
They're really back in business.
And Ferrari are coming on strong in the second part of this season. Charles Leclerc had led the challenge. Tonight, though, in Singapore, the winning smile is on the face of Sebastian Vettel, back on top of the podium for the first time since Belgium last year. It's good to see him back. Green flag has been waved because we're all ready to go here in Sochi. And it's lights out and away we go. And they were held for quite a long time, and Sebastian Vettel got a really good start. He's already wheel to wheel and past Lewis Hamilton. And here comes Carlos Sainz as well. Leclerc leads, Sebastian Vettel pulls over to the right-hand side. The McLaren's getting interested. The Mercedes are dropping back, and Sebastian Vettel takes the lead into the first corner. Then comes Charles Leclerc. After them, Lewis Hamilton and Carlos Sainz going wide. The 2 Hasses of Magnussen ahead of Grosjean. Magnussen's had a great start from 13th and is ahead of his teammate, but Sebastian Vettel, what a launch he got! And Grosjean's out. Grosjean's out of this race on a track you can say is not one of his favourites in the world. Only 1 points finish.
Oh, it's a heavy impact, that. There's Giovinazzi. He's up the inside. Oh, Ricciardo's on the inside of Giovinazzi. Giovinazzi has nowhere to go. Ricciardo's got nowhere to go. And Grosjean, he's unexpected. Probably hasn't been able to see. You're going 3 cars abreast, and he's been the unlucky one. I don't really think anybody's at fault there. I think that's just a racing incident.
What a great launch from Sebastian Vettel.
And we said that at the formation lap, it looked less engaged. But look, this is a punch that Charles Leclerc's putting in the air. And look at the slipstream. He cannot defend from that. And look, Vettel can absolutely nail it. Look at the McLarens, the start they've got. And look, Hulkenberg down to P9.
Right, we're back in 15th place then with Kimi Raikkonen. Did he jump start?
That's a jump start.
That's a penalty coming Kimi Raikkonen's way then.
And Sebastian will let you by next lap.
And Sebastian will let you by. Is this some sort of payback that's been arranged then for last time out in Singapore? Some recompense for Charles Leclerc?
So I would have got him anyways. But let's break away for another 2 laps, let me know.
I get the feeling here that Ferrari are saying to Sebastian Vettel, you had quite an advantage with the slipstream, not really fair on your teammate who got pole position and should get the preferred strategy. Here comes Valtteri Bottas. The car ahead of him was a McLaren. The car ahead of him is now his teammate Lewis Hamilton. Bottas is up in the 4th place. That was fairly easy with a bit of DRS assistance, and those medium tyres starting to warm up now and giving Bottas some grip.
And let Charles by.
Now that is the way, Paul, that Sebastian Vettel can try and get out of this situation. I can't let him past at the moment. He's too far behind. Charles Leclerc's 3.5 seconds further back as Nico Hülkenberg gets past Sergio Perez, locks up, but he puts the Renault up into 8th place.
Yeah, that's Verstappen through, isn't it?
Yep. So Sebastian Vettel stays out. For the second race running, the Ferrari that's behind is pitting first. This week, it's Charles Leclerc. Last week, of course, it was Sebastian Vettel. Medium compound tyres going on for the Ferrari.
My rears are falling off now.
And Albon's going to come back at Gasly on the inside through turn 3 here. This is properly personal, is this? And is Alex Albon ahead? No, Gasly has got the inside line, making it very difficult for Albon in the Red Bull to get past the man who would dearly love to be sat in that Red Bull. Lewis Hamilton takes over the lead of this race. By the way, every time Hamilton's led in Sochi, he's gone on to win the race. Is that an omen? Who knows this afternoon? This is a fascinating race. Charles Leclerc now coming round the final corner. Half a second slower, the pit stop for Sebastian Vettel than Charles Leclerc.
And we need you to push this lap push.
And he has pushed. He's pushed to the extent that now Charles Leclerc is ahead of Sebastian Vettel. Not much in it between the two Ferraris. Sebastian Vettel was leading this race.
Stop the car now, stop the car.
He's serious.
An MG UK problem for Sebastian Vettel has seen him retire from the Russian Grand Prix for what will be his first DNF of the season.
This has just played right into Hamilton. Look, of course they'll put under virtual safety car, won't they? And they'll benefit for that.
Ferrari's mechanical retirement with Sebastian Vettel has handed Mercedes the lead of the Russian Grand Prix. And Lewis Hamilton might have just have been gifted a win here by one man's misfortune.
Oh, George Russell in the safety barrier under virtual safety car. Has he hit something? Or?
And he's gone straight on into the tyre barrier at the left-hander about turn 8, I think that is.
Something's broke. He's lost the brake pedal, I tell you. But luckily, he was going slow.
Leclerc is a little bit closer to the Mercedes in front. DRS then is wide open for car number 16, and he's after Bottas. Here he comes. This time pulls out into the left-hand side, to the right-hand side. But this time, Valtteri Bottas is still just that bit too far ahead. Gasly, who was going far too fast into turn 2 in a bid to get past Danny Kvyat, almost wiped out the front wing of his teammate and ended up losing a place to Kimi Räikkönen as well. He locked up and he was so close to taking out his teammate's front wing. Look at that, oh dear. This is Albon and Sainz. Is Albon going to have another go around that, try and follow the car in front, then dive down the inside? You know what? He certainly did have a go, didn't he? Sainz knew he was coming. It's turned out to be a 1-2 finish for the Silver Arrows, who keep up their golden touch in Russia. Lewis Hamilton wins the Russia Grand Prix. Valtteri Bottas holds off Charles Leclerc to take second. And for the first time in a long while, Toto Wolff smiles at the end of a Grand Prix and probably breathes a huge sigh of relief as well.
What an incredible job. Thank you so much, everyone. That's exactly what we needed. We never give up.
And Lewis Hamilton wanted his team to rise to the challenge, and that's what Mercedes did. They extended their lead. He extended his lead in the Constructors and Drivers' Championship, and we march on to Japan in a Formula One season in 2019 that is becoming more and more absorbing with every race. Ferrari threw down the gauntlet, didn't work out their way here in Russia, but who knows what will happen in 2 weeks' time in Japan. Five lights on. It's lights out and away we go. Vettel didn't get a very good start at all. He's already been passed by Valtteri Bottas. Lewis Hamilton on Charles Leclerc. Vettel in second place, and through on the outside goes Max Verstappen now. Charles Leclerc's on the inside. Verstappen's challenging, and they touch. Verstappen spins round as he tangles with Charles Leclerc. Bottas leads from Vettel and Leclerc and Hamilton, and then the two McLarens.
Oh, got damage.
He tangled with Max Verstappen, who was trying to make his way round the outside through the S's, and two cars do not go into one at this particular corner. He finds himself going wheel to wheel with Leclerc through turn one.
Where should I go? You just gonna sit into my car.
We need to box this lap box.
Carbon everywhere.
Copy box, but just to let you know, the car doesn't feel that bad. I know it probably looks bad, but the car is quite okay.
Well, that's why the front wing end plate has stopped sparking, Paul, because it's not making any contact with the ground apart from where it's bouncing off the tarmac.
Yeah, came off, lost the wing mirror.
Oh dear. I was going to say Alex Albon getting past Lando Norris, but that's what happened at the chicane.
He forced me off.
Well, he's making a move down the inside, Paul. How do you see that one?
Whoa, he's not stopping, is he? I mean, you've got to leave a bit more space than that, Alex.
Oh, no, here's Charles Leclerc on Max Verstappen into turn one. Charles Leclerc getting past Max Verstappen, and this time, no contact.
No, that Ferrari's absolutely superior, isn't it? It's got the straight line speed.
Charles Leclerc's going for it, into Spoon, later on the brakes than Danny Kvyat. Nice move, Charles Leclerc. Here comes Charles Leclerc towards 130R, and he's got past Kimi Räikkönen. Wow, we've seen people go around the outside at 130R. As the inside this time for Charles Leclerc, who is pulling off some brilliant overtakes here at Suzuka on this sunny Sunday afternoon. And is that Max Verstappen retiring from this race, Ted? I think it is.
It is. They cleared a space for him in the Red Bull garage. Such high hopes with this new fuel and this new engine, the Suzuka Special, the Honda engine at the Honda-owned Suzuka circuit. How gutting for him to retire.
So you're currently P3, Vettel 10 seconds ahead. Deg looks very high, so one stop will be a struggle. Let's chase Vettel down.
And Valtteri, how far?
Valtteri's nearly got a full pit stop.
How have I lost that much time?
Deg is much higher. Deg is much higher, and we lost time behind Vettel.
I'm out of the race now. If Deg is that massive, why didn't you give me hard tyres? Can you guys explain a bit, please? I'm basically out of the race with a pit stop behind.
So Vettel is guaranteed 2 stop, so we can see how this comes to us.
Towards 130R, is he going to dive down the inside? Hulkenberg, he thought about it, but then realised he was a bit too far behind. Behind Hulkenberg, Sergio Perez is waiting and ready to pounce as well, and he's got DRS assistance this time as the Renault driver, as he pulls out and goes wheel to wheel with Danny Kvyat, and then ahead of the Russian into 9th, and Perez is going to get ahead of Kvyat as well. 2 cars getting past the Toro Rosso.
Of course, what you can find is a bit of slipstream.
And he gets that slipstream, and he goes through on the inside at Spoon. And if Gasly wanted to defend, there was no chance he was going to be able to do that because Leclerc was on him and pouncing.
He didn't go in there too hard though, did he?
Okay, let's go. Pushing hard now.
What do you think I've been doing this fast? God knows how many laps. Tires are dropping off.
Copy, Lewis, box.
Here he comes, right in front of me, Lewis Hamilton. Heaven knows what he's thinking in his helmet. Would he like to have stayed out? Maybe. But I think we should just consider the bigger picture as well, guys. For Mercedes, it's all about the constructors today, I think. Don't you?
Sebastian Vettel once again has a car in front of him that has held him up. Daniel Kvyat didn't do a very good job there for Sebastian Vettel. Now Hamilton's within 2 car lengths. Now he's got DRS. Now he senses that second place could be his in the race. Sebastian Vettel pulls out to the inside. Hamilton tries to go round the outside, and he just is missing a couple, 3-4 miles an hour of pace advantage. Had he have got that, he'd have got second place. Out of the race is Sergio Perez. And out of the points is Sergio Perez as well. This is what happened to Sergio Perez. Now, did he tangle with the Toro Rosso?
Oh, yes,
The
bit of
answer is
bodywork
yes.
there, yeah.
So Pierre Gasly was the driver on the inside in a race that started with 2 cars colliding at turn 2, ends with 2 different cars colliding at turn 2. Out of the final turn, Valtteri Bottas, winless since Baku, has taken the Japanese Grand Prix. Well done to Valtteri Bottas. Sebastian Vettel is holding off Lewis Hamilton to make it 2nd place for Ferrari. Hamilton finishes 3rd, and Charles Leclerc hasn't taken the fastest lap of the race. He tried it on the final lap, which means Mercedes are crowned Constructors' Champions for 2019. Mercedes will win a 6th consecutive Constructors and Drivers title.
Yes, Valtteri, you are the man. Well done.
Yes! Missed that feeling, guys. Thank you.
His 100th points finish ends in victory for Valtteri Bottas, who is the only man now that can challenge Lewis Hamilton for the Drivers' Championship. No constructor has ever taken 6 successive double world championships. That's what Mercedes will do this season. Another Constructors' Championship. Congratulations to all at Brixworth and Brackley. We are all set here. It is Mexico City, and it's lights out and away we go. Leclerc gets away well, as does Vettel, and Hamilton and Verstappen. They're all in the same order as now Vettel tries to pull into the slipstream of his teammate Lewis Hamilton, getting squeezed onto the grass, and that's cost him a bit, and he's alongside Max Verstappen. Alex Albon keeping ahead of the 2 McLarens. Charles Leclerc into turn 1, ahead of Vettel, Verstappen on the inside, and Hamilton, who's forced a little bit wide, and they're all getting into contact with each other. Hamilton and Verstappen are on the grass. The 2 McLarens now ahead of Valtteri Bottas as well. Those soft tyres helping their start. Lewis Hamilton's not had the greatest getaway, and he is Hamilton down in 5th place.
And Verstappen way down the field, so they were clattering together, and still more close contact there. And that's Verstappen wide again in turn 5. Chaos in the early corners.
Verstappen lost out to the Toro Rosso and Norris in the McLaren. Sainz got ahead of Hamilton as well. Leclerc continues to lead ahead of Sebastian Vettel.
And Albon up to 3rd place then in the sister Red Bull.
Hamilton really got squeezed here, Martin, by Sebastian Vettel.
Vettel had him on the grass, and that's why Verstappen was up the inside. Yeah, they were just wandering around. Yes, they weren't really fully engaged. They were just swinging around, trying to avoid each other, having to take to the grass.
Now, these are the 2 Ferraris. Didn't see anything fly off Leclerc's car.
But it was the front of the front wing against the rear face of his right rear tyre. It wasn't end fence to sidewall.
And there is a very nice move from Max Verstappen that's got the crowd on their feet into Foro Sol. He is ahead of Valtteri Bottas, and you don't normally see cars getting past at that corner.
Have you ever seen anybody overtaking a similarly competitive car into the hairpin?
Not off the top of my head. Did he catch Valtteri Bottas napping, or did he just think, I'm going to go for this, and we'll see what happens? Bottas is coming back at him, though. This is a brilliant tussle, and under DRS there, Valtteri Bottas has got Max Verstappen back.
Looks like a right rear puncher, Max. Right rear puncher.
That could be where he picked up the puncture, because he then was quite easily passed by Bottas down the straight.
It's the sidewall. It's the sidewall issue. That's the one that's vulnerable.
Out of the Peraltada and down towards turn 1. Perez is on the inside. Has he got Danny Kvyat? I will let Mexico City give you the answer on that one, and it's very much the affirmative. Hard tyre as well for Lando Norris, so all the data that the teams... Oh, is that Ted, down to you?
Front left isn't on, front left isn't on. I could see it from the guy, the mechanic, knew it wasn't on, but Lando got the green light.
So let's just have a little look here. The front left was a bit slow going off, and it wasn't properly on, and you can see as he pulls out there. Charles Leclerc is committed to a 2-stop strategy here.
Mercedes will be quite pleased about this. Hamilton went straight into a 20.6. He's just done a purple middle sector. He's clearly got plenty of grip.
That is Max Verstappen's contact with the Haas of Kevin Magnussen.
Right, got you to my wing. He just turned in on me.
can Hamilton take these hard compound tyres to the end of the race at good pace, or will Leclerc come back at him? Leclerc will now almost certainly have to overtake him on the track to beat Hamilton.
The battle for 12th place. Behind them, Sebastian Vettel is coming up a little bit faster as well. Gasly, he thought he got the job done, but late braking from Carlos Sainz there keeps him ahead, only just by, what, a few inches.
Gasly will get great drive out of turn 3, but actually so is the McLaren. Yeah. Gasly gets DRS, and Sainz will have to defend the left-hand side of the racetrack, otherwise the Toro Rosso will be there, and there it is. On cue, he's gone in a bit deep, you can get away with that, and now he's right, it's the leader, they're right in the way of the leader, getting blue flags, a good measure.
And I just had a feeling that this battle, Sebastian Vettel was going to arrive at the wrong time, and he has definitely lost a couple of seconds, Sebastian Vettel, there, by having to slam on the brakes as hard as he did.
Important stop here for Sebastian Vettel.
But they have to put those on. They can't put the mediums on again, Martin, because that's committing to a two-stopper. The softs aren't going to last. It has to be the hards.
Oh, absolutely.
Ferrari are going to make this pit stop now because it's too early to put a set of soft compound tyres on. And can't run the mediums again because they committed then to a three-stop strategy. But what's happened at the rear? Charles Leclerc stuck for way longer than he would have wanted. He's lost 4 seconds in his pit stop, and that is very bad news indeed. DRS wide open in the slipstream of Sergio Perez. Down the inside goes Daniel Ricciardo, locks up, goes too wide, has to go onto the grass. That will be loved by every single person here who's not wearing yellow and black, but he still comes out ahead of Perez, then gives the place back. Was a lasting advantage if he'd have stayed ahead. Perez lives to fight another day in 7th place. We're on board with Danny Kvyat. Have they made contact here? Kvyat trying to make a move down the inside, and that's taken 2 championship points away from Renault and has absolutely wrecked Nico Hülkenberg's afternoon. Hamilton comes home to win the Mexico Grand Prix. Sebastian Vettel finishes in 2nd place. Valtteri Bottas keeps the title fight alive with 3rd. Charles Leclerc comes home for 4th for Ferrari. It's Mercedes, Ferrari, Mercedes, Ferrari. Hamilton wins in Mexico. And Lewis Hamilton onto the top step of the podium, rising to the cheers of the fans. And Valtteri Bottas, 3rd in the race, means that the Drivers' Championship is not decided here in Mexico. It's been another fabulous weekend of Formula One action. The title rolls on to Austin in a week's time. Lewis Hamilton wins today, needs 4 more points for a 6th world title. "56 laps ahead of us here in Austin. It's lights out and away we go. Bottas gets away well, so does Verstappen. He's already wheel-to-wheel with Sebastian Vettel. Lando Norris on the inside of Alex Albon. Bottas into the first turn, is ahead of Max Verstappen and Sebastian Vettel. There is contact between Albon and Carlos Sainz. They go off the track and rejoin, but Gasly has passed them in the Toro Rosso, and that's Lance Stroll going wide as well. Through the S's we go. Bottas, Vettel, Verstappen, Leclerc and Hamilton, the top 5.
They're all over the show as usual as they try to find grip through there, but the front runners got away nicely. They did keep it clean. Leclerc was the man struggling off the line.
And Hamilton has passed him and has made his way up into 4th place. And you can hear the cheers of the crowd who rather like that one, thank you very much. And on the inside, Sebastian Vettel struggling. Charles Leclerc has now got past his teammate as well. What's happening to Sebastian Vettel out there? Has he got a problem?
The Ferraris haven't fired their tyres up. They just don't have any grip from their medium compound tyres at the moment.
Vettel is coming back at Charles Leclerc as Bottas goes through turn 12. Ahead of Verstappen and then Hamilton. On the inside goes Sebastian Vettel. Charles Leclerc on the outside. If they touched, there wasn't too much contact and too much damage, but it's very close for the Ferraris. Behind them, Daniel Ricciardo is giving Lando Norris a lot of competition. Norris ahead of Ricciardo, and that's a lock up there from Sebastian Vettel as Norris goes down on the inside, and Norris makes his way up into 6th place. get the feeling if Ricciardo can get past Norris, then
Oh,
Vettel...
look
Oh,
at
no,
that.
what's happened there? Sebastian Vettel has massive problems.
Broken
and part of his
suspension.
suspension, yeah, must have broken, as I think he left the track.
I think the suspension just failed. Yeah, failed. Something broke.
I think he got particularly wide in turn 9. It was just the usual cheating they're all doing on the outside of 9, actually.
Okay, so I believe other cars are on a 2-stop, so we just stick to our original plan.
So that message seems to me, you are on a one-stop strategy this afternoon, Lewis Hamilton.
Okay, you can attack him now.
You can attack him. That's an unusual word, isn't it?
Well,
between teammates, but Lewis has swerved the strategy. His medium tyres are completely worn out, and Valtteri's going to have a great chance of passing him here anyway.
Well, this is how his tyre performance has changed quite dramatically in the last couple of laps. Valtteri Bottas goes attack, 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 and that was one of the easiest attacks Valtteri Bottas is ever going to be responsible for. He retakes the lead of the US Grand Prix. Stroll moves rather aggressively to defend against Danny Kvyat there, and Kvyat had to be alert to be what was going on, and now Sergio Perez is going to try and slide down the inside of the Toro Rosso. Brilliant move from the Mexican, opportunist move from the Mexican, and I'm sure there are plenty of Mexican fans who will love seeing that. Sergio Perez moves up into 12th place. That will keep Valtteri Bottas ahead of Max Verstappen and behind his teammate now, Lewis Hamilton. And it is the chase from Bottas and Verstappen to Hamilton to the finish that will decide the winner of this race.
So Bottas pitted on lap 35 for these mediums. Hamilton pitted on lap 24 for the hard compound tyres. Miraculously, he's making it work somehow out front.
Okay, no talking now.
So Bottas was biding his time, maybe waiting for a mistake, and look, with DRS now, look how he closes in on his teammate. Bottas pulls out to go to the right, the long way round the corner. Hamilton fights him off though, and off the track goes Valtteri Bottas. Bottas might pick up the victory, Hamilton might pick up the victory, but he keeps making little errors here, and it keeps allowing Valtteri Bottas to get that much closer. And now he's going to try again with DRS down this main straight. He tried on the previous lap, couldn't quite get the move done. This time he gets it done an awful lot earlier. Valtteri Bottas retakes the lead of the US Grand Prix, and it's been a long time coming as far as he's concerned, but eventually he has got the job done. Here comes Valtteri Bottas, started on pole for the US Grand Prix, crosses the line to win the US Grand Prix. But behind him, adding another championship to his collection, he's got 6 appeal in Austin. It's Lewis Hamilton, champion of the world.
Get in there, Lewis. What a drive, mate, that is it. Champion of the world. Did it in style, mate. You did that in style.
Still we rise, guys. Still we rise. What an incredible weekend. Thank you so much, guys, for today. And to everyone that came out. I can't believe it. I really can't believe it.
Well done, Valtteri. Great weekend. Great weekend.
Yeah!
Hamilton performs his donuts in front of the packed grandstands. By far and away the driver of 2019 and deserving a world championship. Wherever you are watching around the world, this is your champion in 2019, Formula One fans. I dare say, as he runs over to his teammates, gets the embrace and the applause. It's worth a ripple of applause around the world. At least a ripple, whether you're a fan or not. It's a day for Valtteri Bottas, a winner in America for the first time. It's a day and a season for Lewis Hamilton, who just after he finished third on his Grand Prix debut in 2007, Sir Sterling Moss said he's the best thing I've seen in Formula One since I came into this sport in the early 1950s. He's not a bad judge of character, as Sterling Moss. God bless you, Sterling. Well done, Lewis Hamilton. I think time has proved that quote very, very true. And it's lights out and away we go. And Sebastian Vettel did get a better start, but it's a short run down to the line, and Verstappen covers him off. Hamilton is trying to squeeze around the outside and does so. There's a look up behind, but it's Verstappen, Hamilton, Vettel, and then Valtteri Bottas, Alex Albon and Pierre Gasly as they head down the hill. Raikkonen tucked in behind Romain Grosjean. Kevin Magnussen wheel to wheel there with Lando Norris in the McLaren, but it's Verstappen out in front and pulling away. This is Charles Leclerc and Daniel Ricciardo. Leclerc is up to 13th already on the inside, trying to squeeze past the Renault. He might just have done it, he has, and now he's got past Lando Norris as well. And very, very good reactions from Lando Norris to avoid the Ferrari crashing into him. Norris gets that place back, but it's a straight drag now all the way to the finish line, and you get the feeling Leclerc's going to win out that one. 1.3 seconds, Verstappen ahead of Hamilton, and we look back now to see Romain Grosjean under pressure from Kimi Raikkonen, Charles Leclerc ahead of Lando Norris, Daniel Ricciardo going around the outside of Lando Norris as well.
Lando wasn't giving up, was he? He came back at Leclerc. Leclerc gave him a bit of a swipe to get him off the throttle, but he came straight back at him. Great racing there from all of them.
And he came straight back at Daniel Ricciardo, and he's almost pushing him off onto the grass there. I think Ricciardo did touch the grass as Norris aggressively defending that 12th place. Renault on 83 points behind McLaren on 121. Ricciardo down the inside into Desquino de Largo. Oh, he locks up. Magnussen spins round as they make contact, and it's damage to the front wing of Daniel Ricciardo's Renault.
That had tears written all over it, didn't it? Dan Dare on the brakes, Daniel Ricciardo.
Idiot. And have decided that Daniel Ricciardo is worthy of a 5-second time penalty. They're bringing Lewis Hamilton first. Don't miss this shot, they said, Lewis. And this is the undercut attempt, and it's soft tyres that go on for Lewis Hamilton.
Box, pick confirm, Max. Box, pick confirm.
Let's go down to Ted Kravitz, as we can see.
It's the only choice they had. It's the only choice they had. They had a little bit of a gap. It's not much. Has it been hammer time? I can see Hamilton's set a quickest middle sector. This stop needs to be perfect. So great stop.
It's a sub 2-second stop for Max Verstappen, who then has to stop as the Williams of Kubica comes out of his pit box. That has held up Verstappen. The crew did their best for him, but that Williams coming out at the wrong time for Verstappen has cost him the advantage over Lewis Hamilton.
Naughty of Williams to release that car into the path of Verstappen.
There will be another pit stop coming for Verstappen to try and make his way past Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton, neat move there on Leclerc. If he can make that stick through Magulio, and he does. Verstappen on the inside tries to get past as well. And now the gloves are really going to come off here, because after the opening spars and jabs, is Verstappen poised to land a knockout blow on Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah, great move there. Lewis needed to get that done. It's just not working out for Ferrari at all.
Here goes Verstappen. Lewis tries to cover him off. Verstappen through at turn 1. And he has made amends for getting held up in the pit lane at the earliest available opportunity. That was brilliant from Max Verstappen.
And now Hamilton's got the DRS down towards turn 4. Verstappen goes on the defensive. He'll be more of an acute angle into the corner. Has he got it covered? He has.
Smoke coming out of the back of Valtteri Bottas's Mercedes engine. It looks like it, doesn't it? Oh, that's a huge shame for Valtteri Bottas's first retirement since Germany.
Safety car, full safety car.
Well, safety car.
Box, opposite Verstappen.
And this could make things very interesting indeed in this race. So if there are a few cars in between Hamilton and Verstappen on the track, I think most of those are lapped cars and will get out of the way. He's still trying to get a bit of temperature into his tyres, Lewis Hamilton, as now he goes. Alex Albon all over the back of Sebastian Vettel. He's got a decent jump. Gasly's right on the tail of Charles Leclerc as well. Albon is going right at Sebastian Vettel here as Max Verstappen over the hill comes wheel to wheel with Lewis Hamilton. Round the outside of turn 1 he goes. Verstappen's got the restart sorted. That was fantastic. Albon's got ahead of the two Ferraris. Leclerc now gets shoved wide by Sebastian Vettel. Verstappen leads. Hamilton coming back, then comes Albon and Vettel, Verstappen and Hamilton wheel to wheel through the Desquino de Largo, and Hamilton just has to back out. There was no more room for him. Albon still has Vettel right on his tail. Which way's Vettel going to go? He's going to have to stick behind the Red Bull there. Charles Leclerc slots in behind his teammate. Then comes Pierre Gasly, Sainz, Raikkonen, Giovinazzi and Grosjean in the points. Charles Leclerc, by the way, could have clinched third place today. Needed to outscore Verstappen by 13 points and Vettel by 8 points. And at the moment, no, he just wants to get past his teammates, which he does. Charles Leclerc down the inside of Sebastian Vettel, and he moves himself up into fourth place. Vettel will get DRS down the Retta Aposta. Can he now fight back? Leclerc made it very tough earlier for the... Oh, no, he's got a puncture. They made contact, and Charles Leclerc's got a puncture caused by contact with his teammate Sebastian Vettel. And Vettel's got problems too.
And this is totally self-inflicted here for Ferrari.
Safety car's been deployed.
Puncture. Mein Gott, muss das sein! Wow.
And Alex Albon has Hamilton troubles here as he turns in. Oh, and Lewis Hamilton makes contact with Alex Albon. His first podium in Formula One is sent spinning and drifting away in the infield and Interlagos.
Alex, fault? You left the door too. He left the door wide open. It was such an invitation for Lewis Hamilton there.
Max Verstappen gets his foot down for one last time towards the line. Lewis Hamilton tries to make his way where we've got past Timo Glock in 2008 and Jun Sao to get past Gasly. The checker flag is out. The Brazilian Grand Prix goes to Max Verstappen a year after he finished second and had it taken away in his redemption day. Hamilton fights Gasly to the line. Gasly comes home to take second place by less than 1/10 of a second and win his first podium in Formula One. It's a samba celebration here in Brazil. The championship decided, and we thought we might have a bit of fun, but boy were we treated to a magnificent Brazilian Grand Prix. Obrigado Interlagos. Max Verstappen wins. It's been a thoroughly enjoyable season. I hope you've enjoyed it along with us. And for one last time, it's lights out and away we go. Lewis Hamilton gets away well. Max Verstappen slips in behind him. Charles Leclerc ahead of Sebastian Vettel. Alex Albon has the McLaren of Lando Norris for company, but as they all go through the top 10 unscathed, going wheel to wheel, the McLaren of Sainz with Nico Hülkenberg as well. I think Lance Stroll down at the back went off at the first turn, and the 2 racing points back on the track as well. In towards the hairpin we go now, as all the cars concertina up. On the inside is Kevin Magnussen getting ahead of Nico Hülkenberg. Hamilton comes out of the hairpin ahead of Verstappen and the 2 Ferraris, and there's contact at the back as they come through the hairpin.
Yeah, there was contact as well on the outside of turn 1. I believe there's a racing point involved. And look at Leclerc breezing past the Red Bull.
That wasn't expected there. Charles Leclerc ahead of Max Verstappen, and there looking up is Antonio Giovinazzi. Valtteri Bottas has made up places as well, already up in the 16th from the back of the grid. You can see the Mercedes coming through ahead of Danny Kvyat, who's got Romain Grosjean, giving him an awful lot to worry about. Verstappen now has been overtaken by Vettel, but he's trying to fight back, keeps ahead of him as Albon locks up ahead of Carlos Sainz, who's ahead of his teammate Lando Norris. And Norris gets past Sainz and gets a tap for his troubles as well as he squeezes past the Spaniard. Oh dear.
Yeah, that was a bit of a thump, wasn't it? Nothing he could do about that.
Well, this is how it looked on board with Lance Stroll. We saw the brakes smoking away at the start. Gasly originally locked up. Stroll didn't help by locking up a little bit, I think, himself, and we saw the resultant damage. We're on board with Valtteri Bottas. He's got 1 racing point down into the first chicane. He's got another racing point at the next chicane this time around. Bottas overtakes Sergio Perez, and he moves past and up into 8th place now with Ricciardo pitting. Into the pits then comes the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc.
And that's hard tyres going on. That's not the Ferrari I expected to see first this evening.
Certainly not. Double stacking. So a 2.6 second stop for Charles Leclerc. Sebastian Vettel front left. It's a bit problematic for him. Oh, and he was stationary for way too long, almost 3 times as long stationary, because they just couldn't get the front left on, and that is the problem. When you double stack, you are expecting a lot from your pit crew. Have a look here. Antonio Giovinazzi getting past Robert Kubica. Do they touch? Oh, they do. And the bit came off Giovinazzi's car as well. Bang.
So wonder Kubica wasn't upside down there.
Yeah. Right, in comes Max Verstappen, and will come out behind that Ferrari, which of course pitted an awful lot earlier.
Yeah, Leclerc pitted on lap 12. So that gives him a big advantage, doesn't it, towards the end of the Grand Prix, Max?
George Russell ahead of Charles Leclerc. Russell has been lapped. Leclerc gets DRS, but so does Verstappen. The DRS there for Leclerc as he tries to lap Russell, who keeps out of the way. Verstappen dives down the inside on Charles Leclerc. Leclerc saw him coming. Verstappen broke that fraction later, and he manages to get past the Ferrari. Now, can Charles Leclerc battle back? No. Verstappen is already quite a long way clear. DRS is enabled for the Ferrari. He's going to give it a go, Charles Leclerc, and goes wheel to wheel with Verstappen and comes off worse. As a result, they might have touched going into that chicane, but Verstappen hangs on to second place. Leclerc gave it everything, but he didn't quite have enough. Bottas getting closer to Albon now. And Albon, who came a cropper in a wheel-to-wheel battle with a Mercedes in Brazil. Now, Valtteri Bottas on this occasion manages to get past the Red Bull without any fear of contact whatsoever, and he'll go through and onto the next straight. DRS now as he's trying to break the toe, Valtteri Bottas, for Alex Albon. He's fighting back, but Bottas stays ahead. Perez on Nico Hülkenberg, getting a lot closer, and that DRS really is quite powerful, and Perez is going to go for it, late braking into the chicane. Sergio Perez this time around, nice and clean, gets past Nico Hülkenberg and up into 8th place. Hülkenberg has now got DRS though, and a slipstream, and he's going to try and fight back. Perez tries to push him to the right-hand side as much as he can, while still leaving a car's width to make it very difficult, and he did just that. Sebastian Vettel on Alex Albon, down into the chicane. Albon's got the inside line. Sebastian Vettel has to jump on the brakes, otherwise he was right into the side of the Red Bull there. But in doing so, Vettel prepared himself very nicely indeed to get the exit, and with DRS to move alongside Albon down that back straight. He goes round the outside, and Sebastian Vettel moves into 5th place, pushes Albon down into 6th.
Mate, we want to race Perez to the end, give it everything.
And Perez has got past Lando Norris as well. Sergio Perez getting Lando Norris on the final lap. Carlos Sainz trying to get at Nico Hülkenberg has now got Daniel Ricciardo right behind him as well. Sainz is in all sorts of bother at the moment as he scraps away to try and get 6th place in the Drivers' Championship. Lewis Hamilton has led every single lap of this race, had pole, has the fastest lap as well. It is Lewis Hamilton winning in Abu Dhabi to cap a championship winning season in 2019. Max Verstappen has come home in 2nd place. Now Valtteri Bottas with just 2 more corners to go from the back of the grid, trying to get past Charles Leclerc. Leclerc will be off to see the stewards once he's reached the checkered flag. Charles Leclerc for the time being 3rd here in Abu Dhabi. Valtteri Bottas finishes 4th. 2019 and this decade in Formula One is done. Mercedes have dominated here as they have done many, many times before. Thank you very much indeed. Can't wait for 2020.